is new, so.
Hi, Mrs. Anna.
Hello. Hey, Lena.
Yes.
I just want to tell you something. You know, I sent you an email,
Yes.
but you know what? Luckily it was giving me ID incorrect, but I have the Zoom app, and when I went with my own app, it let me in.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Because I got the number 979, and I type it in when I got my app. Sure enough, but I couldn't get it with your email.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to look into it then.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Just wanted to let you know, okay, in case somebody else is having problems or anything like that.
Luckily, it was giving me
Thank you. Okay,
ID
perfect.
incorrect, but when I went with my own app, it let me in.
Exactly.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, baby. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, and I guess when we get done, whatever form you need signed, you'll have to email it to Lena. And
You know, Judge, supposedly, because this has been a big mess, okay?
Okay.
You are supposed to, at first they said that the court was going to go into Crohn's and put my hours. But now I'm sending it straight to Miss Rodarte.
Okay.
Okay?
I just want to make sure you're taken care of.
Yes, thank you very much, okay?
Whatever you need, I will.
I will. If something happens, I'll get back with you, Judge, okay?
Okay, so then I also got to introduce you to our new DA, Assistant DA.
Oh, I
Mr.
had the pleasure
Patel.
to meet him. I had the pleasure to meet him already.
Oh, you've met him already?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What do you think? He can't hear us. No, he can't.
How you doing?
Oh. Let me get my robe on so I look official.
Okay, that's good.
I wish the defense attorneys looked official. Have you seen the way they dress for court? It's shameful, man.
I know sometimes you go, okay, I know this is supposed to be relaxed, but you know.
I don't think it should be. If we're on YouTube, they ought to be dressed professional. If there's clients that can see them, they ought to be dressed
Exactly. You know, we were doing a guardianship.
Uh-huh.
The person was an older lady, but she was laying down on the bed. They had her on the bed. And when I don't know why they propped her up or something like that. We could see a lot more than we wanted to see.
Oh my goodness.
It almost became a porno guardianship.
Yeah, people forget that, you know, you're on camera.
The judge was going, oh my God. Just put it down. Just put it down. Yeah.
Was it somebody who was incapacitated?
Yes. That's what I said. It was an older lady. And, you know, she was I guess in her nightgown or something like that. But at least it would have been okay, but it was a little bit too open, you know. And like I said, we were looking at a lot more than we wanted to see.
Bargain for us. You know, but, you know, I could see, I mean, they should have been more careful, obviously, but I could see somebody like that being in a nightgown or something. You know, they got health issues, but you know, the lawyers and even the defendants that show up for stuff ought to be dressed appropriate, especially the lawyers. I mean, they're coming up without jacket, without a tie, just a pullover shirt, you know.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't going to Walmart to do some shopping, man. It's court, you know.
This is legal stuff.
Yeah, they're supposed to, I mean, they're supposed to hold the profession out to be something professional, you know.
Yes.
I just don't get it, man.
Well, you know, when this started, they show a video from, I think it was someplace around between Fort Worth and Texas. And they said that they were going to continue, that they were going to do the best, and they wanted to choose a jury because it was not fair for the defendant to be waiting that long. And when they were interviewing these people through Zoom, one was on the couch having breakfast, and the other one was on a treadmill. I don't think they wanted to be in the jury to begin with, but one was in the treadmill. I go, oh my, it was funny. They were showing it, you know, like things that at the beginning, you know, last March, 2020. Yeah, it was funny.
Ridiculous. Man. Yeah, they need to stop that.
So how are you enjoying El Paso?
Oh, I like it a lot. We've been here a long time now.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you just moved.
No, I just moved positions. I used to be in the felony courts, and now I've moved down.
See, because
I'm
you're
new
from
at JP. I'm new at
Okay.
JP.
because
Um,
you're from Louisiana, aren't you?
Well, my dad is actually.
Oh, your dad is from
Yeah,
Louisiana.
my grandparents and aunts and uncles and all that on his side are.
Okay.
My mom was from Montana, and they
Okay.
met after college. They both ended up in California. That's where they met, and then they ended up in Houston
Mhm.
because my dad's he has an electrical engineering degree, and he got a job at NASA when NASA was kind of just starting out, and he stayed
Okay.
30+ years. Most of his career he did aerospace engineering, but he has an electrical engineering degree. And
Okay.
then my mom was a school teacher, so she could kind of pretty much work anywhere, So
Yeah, that's a good.
that's how I ended up in Houston over in the suburbs.
Oh, I don't know why I thought you were from Louisiana.
I don't know. My dad is, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that came up somehow. And I did get one of my law degrees from Tulane University, which is Louisiana.
Maybe that's what made me think about it. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. But I mean, I'm feel close to Louisiana because I spent so much of my time there on weekends and holidays visiting, with
Okay.
Okay.
hunting and fishing and all those kind of things. It's a beautiful state,
Oh, yes.
very green and lush and lots of
Great food.
wildlife. Yeah.
You guys ready?
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
yes,
I hate,
yes,
I
Judge.
hate, I hate to break up the little tea party. But we gotta
Okay,
get
well,
going
let's
here.
try it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go over here and ask him to swear him in, Suzanne. So
All right, Judge.
his name is Juan Dominguez.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, raise your right hand.
Levante la mano derecha.
Do you swear to tell me the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Jura decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad ante Dios. Señor.
Yes.
¿Usted sí habla inglés, señor? ¿Habla usted inglés, señor? No, okay. Yes.
I'm going to introduce you to the Assistant District Attorney. You can put your hand up. His name is Mr. Marcantel, and he's going to explain to you how we're going to operate today.
Señor, en este momento le estoy presentando al asistente a la fiscalía, el señor Marcantel, y él le va a explicar en qué forma vamos a proseguir.
Okay, Mr. Marcantel, you're on there.
Okay, Mr. Dominguez, you have really basically two options. One, you can plead not guilty, and the judge can set you for trial at a future date, and we can bring the officer in to testify. And you can bring your own witnesses, and you can testify yourself, and then the judge will decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. That's option number one.
Señor Domínguez, usted básicamente tiene dos opciones. La primera opción es que usted se puede declarar que no es culpable. Si usted se declara que no es culpable, entonces el juez le daría a usted otra fecha para que en esa fecha el oficial que lo infraccionó a usted esté presente. Se presente el testimonio del oficial y usted también puede presentar testimonio y puede traer testigos para esa fecha. Esa es la primera opción. Espere un momentito. Yes, Mr. Marcantel, second option.
Second option would be for you to plead either guilty or else no contest. And then I'll explain to him what the deal is.
Okay. La segunda opción que usted puede tener, señor, es que usted se declare culpable o que no disputa esta infracción. Entonces, en unos momentitos, el asistente a la fiscalía le va a explicar qué quiere decir esto, ¿ok?
So if you do the option two, then I'll give you a plea bargain offer. That plea bargain offer will be, you prove to the court that you have your insurance now, and then the court will dismiss your case and you'll just pay court costs.
La oferta que le puede hacer el asistente a la fiscalía es que usted tiene que comprobarle al juez que usted tiene el seguro del vehículo. Y de esa forma, entonces, el juez puede retirar la infracción.
The good thing about option 2 is the ticket will not go on your record because it gets dismissed.
Lo bueno de la opción número 2 es que si el juez retira la infracción, usted no va a tener ningún antecedente en su récord de manejo.
Based on what I've explained to you, do you want to take option number 1 and go to a bench trial with the judge, or do you want to take option number 2 and take my plea bargain offer?
Con respecto a lo que se le explicó a usted, señor, ¿usted quiere tener el juicio ante el juez o quiere aceptar la oferta número 2 que le acabo yo de explicar? I can hear you, sir. Oh, the microphone. The microphone for the defendant is not on, Your Honor. See the little icon at the bottom is red?
Oh, you're on mute.
Try it.
Ok,
¿Sí me
señor.
escucha?
Sí, un momentito, señor. Un momentito. Ahora sí lo puedo escuchar. Ok, entonces con respecto a lo que yo le acabo de explicar a usted, usted quiere que el oficial esté presente y que tengamos el juicio, o usted quiere tomar la oferta número 2, que usted mantenga su seguro para el vehículo y de esa forma se le va a retirar a usted la infracción. ¿Qué quiere hacer?
Una pregunta, me mencionó ahorita usted, señor Domínguez, entonces me estoy dando cuenta aquí que es para una aseguranza, lo mío es de una licencia.
Oh, Your Honor, it says here that it is for an insurance, but according to Mr. Dominguez, it's for a driver's license.
Not on the ticket. It says, on the ticket, it says driver is unable to provide proof of insurance financial responsibility coming from working in bus yard in Chaparral. He goes on with his notes here.
La infracción que tenemos aquí, señor, dice que ¿tiene usted seguro para su vehículo?
Sí, tengo no lo tengo en papel, me lo mandan de la aseguranza en el teléfono. Tengo la
Okay.
aplicación
He
en el
does have
teléfono.
insurance, Mr. Marcantel, and he's not able to have a proof right now, but he has on his phone. He doesn't have the paper at this moment, but he has his insurance on his phone.
Okay, Suzanne, tell him that the judge says that if he brings in proof within 7 days,
Mhm.
the case will be dismissed. If not, the fine is $378 plus court costs.
375 plus court costs?
378.
Oh, 378. Ok. Mire, señor, si usted tiene el seguro entonces para su vehículo, por favor, dentro de 7 días de la fecha de hoy, usted nos trae de vuelta ese documento para comprobar que usted tiene el seguro del vehículo y le retiramos esta infracción que aparece aquí en este día.
Ok.
Ok.
¿Puedo regresar ahorita y traerle el papel?
Ya. Si quiere, he wants to come back right now and bring the paper, Your Honor.
That's fine, but we're in court.
Esto,
Does he have to come this afternoon or
Well, the next one
sí, usted puede venir en la tarde si usted
does he
quiere.
have it? Does he have it with him now?
He has the telephone. He doesn't have the paper. He has it
How
on
long
his
will it
phone.
take him to go get the paper?
¿Cuánto tiempo le va a tomar a usted para que traiga el papel, señor?
Para nomás ir a la Montana y regresar.
I'll have to go to
Dame tu
Montana
papel.
and come back.
email it to us if he wants to.
Can
or-
he use it off the phone? He has it on his
email it
phone?
to us, or he can show it to you. If he shows it to you, that's. up
Okay,
to you.
sir, let me see it. Just show it to my clerk or come over here and show it to me and I can just go ahead and give you credit.
¿Por qué no nos muestra el que tiene en el teléfono, señor?
Dejé el teléfono en el carro.
Oh, I left the telephone in the car.
Well, go get it and come back.
Vaya y tráigalo. Okay, so he'll go and get it.
Right, all that one real quick. Still has to pay like a fee or court cost or something, right, Judge?
No, if he shows proof of insurance, the whole thing is dismissed.
Wow, what a great deal.
Yeah, we have excellent deals in JP2, Mr. Martin.
Do we have a tablet anywhere? you need a tablet of it?
I think it'd be easier with a tablet here than this. It may prevent some of the echoing. Or if there's a way to move this thing over there, so we're not running both. And they go off of that one. Because I don't know how to fix that echo. Yeah, so I would say if it's possible to move this.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have a problem with having to mute it or unmute it.
Is that him there?
I think he's back. I kind of saw the same type of shirt a little while. I saw somebody going by with a,
Okay, Suzanne, tell him it's okay, but tell him that he is not to ever drive a vehicle without insurance.
ok, señor Domínguez, está muy bien, señor, está muy bien, pero por favor asegúrese que siempre usted tiene el seguro para su vehículo, ¿ok?
I explained to him that some courts would not accept that and he would have to pay the full fine, but because he's showing me insurance, I'm gonna go ahead and accept it.
Okay.
Not every court is gonna be as lenient as this one.
Sure he understands accept it means dismiss. It judges dismiss.
Señor, el juez le está retirando la infracción y yo quiero que usted tenga presente esto.
Okay, hold on, Suzanne. Alina,
He's number 3. He's Rodolfo Valenzuela, not Juan Dominguez.
Ay. No wonder he kept saying.
Okay.
Ay, pero sabe que a mí me gustaba más su nombre como Juan Domínguez, señor.
this is the first time in 11 years we've made a mistake. Okay, we got to start all over again. Okay.
Okay, señor. Okay, señor Valenzuela. Ahora vamos a...
I'm going to accept that you're already sworn in.
Ajá.
Okay. And he does have a copy of his insurance counselor,
Okay.
of his driver's license.
But the driver's license is the issue though.
Okay, that's what we need to ask him. And I need somebody to unmute Mr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will go to mute.
Okay. Señor Valenzuela, ¿tiene su licencia de conducir?
Sí,
Okay. He also has a license on his phone, Your Honor.
Yeah, I got it right here.
This is a high-tech individual.
Right there.
Oh, there it is. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to accept it and it's a $20.
10. It's 10. It's a 10.
Ok, vamos a aceptar su licencia de conducir con solamente un costo de $10, ¿ok?
Ok, perfecto.
Ok, muy bien, señor Valenzuela. Disculpe la confusión,
No,
¿ok?
no se preocupe, señorita.
Pero ¿piensa usted en cambiarse a Juan Domínguez?
No.
Ok, señor Valenzuela. Ok. Brad, ¿tiene los 10? ¿Quiere hacer su pago de una vez o quiere regresar la semana que entra? Ok, ¿tiene efectivo? Ok, so va a ser $10, por favor.
Oh, we got it
No,
all.
it's okay, baby. I'll open one here. That way we only have one, and then I'll move it to yours.
Get it all taken care of right here, River City, right here. Okay.
Déjeme le doy su recibo, señor, ¿ok?
Well, now I understand why he was insisting it was a
Yeah,
driver.
he was. Yeah, that's right. You know, and he goes,
When you ask him to raise your right hand, Suzanne, to
I'm
do.
gonna ask their name now, Judge. Okay.
Yes,
I'm gonna get a birth certificate. Okay, that's what I'm gonna get.
okay, all right. Whatever it takes.
Well, you know what happened, Judge, is that he was muted, so that's why we couldn't hear at the beginning. Mhm.
Suzanne, is that an Emmy behind you?
Yes.
Did you win an Emmy award?
No. My son, he works for a TV station in Las Vegas.
Really?
Remember I told you that he lives in Las Vegas and I go every October? Yeah. That was his first one. He has other that he have won.
Well, you
But
should get another one. You'd have bookends. Usually there's a book stop there. I just
Well, he's gonna come. Probably he'll take it away one of these days. I don't know.
I think that's neat.
Mhm.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. That's pretty
Well,
awesome.
thank you. Yeah. I think now he's an investigative reporter, so a photojournalist. And so I think now he has like about 6. So that was his very first one. Mhm.
And it goes to mom, and that's sweet.
Yeah, he said that I deserve that one, and I deserve all of them. What are you talking about that one?
Oh, well, that's pretty cool. Okay, we have these set up for every 20 minutes. That's one thing about this Zoom stuff. We gotta wait.
Oh, how come, Judge?
Well, because we got to bring them individually. We got to make sure we can wipe everything down, and we got to make
Are
sure
you? Oh my!
it's all precaution, and it's
Oh wow!
made my job a lot harder, Suzanne. I used to only have to show up about 10 minutes a week. Now I got
I
to be here all
know.
day. My clerk's got me here from 9 to 3 or 9 to 5. It's
And Judge,
unbelievable.
they're not able, Judge, to themselves to connect to Zoom.
They can, but a lot of these people don't have computers.
Okay, señor.
And this is the first time, and we have to have you with the, it's easier to do it this way with the interpreter. side.
Because they can do it also on the phone, on the cell phone, if they
Oh,
get.
I know.
Uh-huh.
Even my clerks have taught me how to do that. I don't even have to be here. I can do it by Zoom. They
Oh
said,
my
"No,
God, Judge,
you're gonna be here with us." I said, "Okay."
you're becoming high tech lately. Wow.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn how to spell IT. For a guy that just turned 65, I might have some hope here. I might be able to spell IT.
Okay, Robert, could you come and help us move the camera?
Yeah, because that way we're not running both cameras because it's giving the echo. So if we move that one over here, like to go off of this audio.
Not the cameras, the speakers, the audio. So that way the defendant will go over there and it's still plugged in and he can hear Susana and Susana can hear him.
That way we can shut this one down, yeah.
Would that work?
All you gotta do is unplug it on the side.
Would that work?
Yeah, because what's happening is you have both of the audio, it's picking up both
No,
of
no,
the
I
audio.
understand that. What I'm talking about is both cameras will work.
No,
Like-
both cameras won't work on that. What we'll have to do is unplug this camera and then plug that way. So,
That's why it was like the other tablet.
But, let's see how far the cord is.
How do we do it? You know how we have to,
Judge, while we're waiting, I was gonna ask you a question real quick.
times before we can move on.
I think we have the next one, Mr. Mercantile.
Oh, we do? Okay, I'll wait. We're gonna have a break between each one.
No, he's not here. Go ahead. What's your question?
Well, I was curious what your plans were for 4th of July week. I was thinking about trying to take I'm not asking you on a date. I was thinking about taking vacation, but I gotta make sure the courts are gonna be clear because we don't have any coverage going on.
Well, you're in luck because I'm taking that week off for vacation myself.
Fantastic. If I could just get the other 3 judges to do the same. Actually 2, because JP 3 is on Monday and that's a holiday, so they don't have a choice.
Uh-huh.
So if I can just get the ones on Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be golden.
Mm.
Yeah, there you go. But you're good. I
Hopefully
give
you'll
you
see-
my blessing.
No, thanks, hopefully go see my daughter at UT because she's gonna be going to school up there in the summer, and then we'll go to Houston to see my parents.
All right.
Anyway.
Your parents live in Houston.
Yeah, I grew up there in Houston. Yeah,
Good place to be from. It's pretty humid.
yeah. That's the bad part. It's very humid, but it's pretty. Very green and
Oh, yeah.
lakes and rivers everywhere. And then Galveston Island's only. Well, I grew up in the suburbs of Clear Lake by the Johnson Space
Oh,
Center.
okay.
So I grew up about 25 miles south of downtown. So we're only about 35 miles from Galveston Island, which is kind of fun too, eating out there and stuff. You can see the ocean, smell the ocean, hear the ocean. It's kind of neat.
30?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, one of my brother's best friends, he met in the legislature is from There's a port down there, it's down there by San Josita Plaza or the San Josita Battlefield.
Oh, yeah, huh?
I don't know what the name of the port is. I know it's not Port Lavaca or anything like that, but it's anyway. It's Houston's a nice place to visit
Yeah, it is. There's a lot to do there.
or to drive through.
Well, I have to agree. The traffic is horrendous. And of
Oh
course,
my gosh, yes.
humidity's bad. And then you got to worry about hurricanes every year. So there's definitely some drawbacks, but there's so much to do there. If you ever decide to go, let me know and I can send you a list of things to do in Houston that I typed up for some of my coworkers that were going down there. There's obvious things I didn't list, but there's a lot of things on there I listed that are fun to do that may not be obvious.
My other son lives in Houston.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Does he like it or not?
Oh, yeah. He's been there now for probably 12 years.
Oh, wow. Does he have kids?
I beg your pardon?
Does he have children?
No. He doesn't have any children. He's married, but he doesn't have any children.
Some of my stuff on the list is geared more toward kids or grandkids or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But parents could do them too, but I could send you the list if you want to.
Yes, yeah. His wife has 2 children from a previous marriage.
Oh, how old are they?
And they're 12. I think they're gonna be 13.
Okay, so some of this stuff would be good for them then. But what's your email address?
Sue SUPALOMO at ELP.RR.com.
2 R's?
Yes, 2 R's.
Okay,
Because
so-
it used to be Roadrunner, Now is
After she might have talked.
but that's for
So it's SUPALOMO at ELP.RR.com.
correct.
Let me send it to you. I guess I can send you one too, Judge. You think you'll go to Houston or not?
Yeah, send me one.
So
I
just
never know when I'm going to go, but it's always good to have it.
I update it once in a while too. There's some cool stuff down there,
Oh,
to
you
do.
got the old Astrodome. I've been there. Yeah.
Good job, baby. Good job.
Matter of fact, we get Robert and I have been down there for a few Houston Texan games.
Now, how are they doing?
Oh,
For what
Matter of
game?
fact, Robert and I were at the very first Houston game where they beat Dallas in their very first game.
oh.
Really? And like
Other clerks don't like to hear that because they're all Dallas Cowboy fans. I have to remind them. Of course, they always remind me that Houston's never won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Oh. But they were close. Yeah, last season they did pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
But they got the baseball and they won the
Oh, man.
yeah.
I was when I was young, it was the Houston Oilers, and they were coached
Oh,
by Phil Phillips.
yes,
They made it to the last game before the Super Bowl a couple of times. I thought they were going to go, but Terry Bradshaw and the Steelers had different opinions on that,
Uh-huh.
so we didn't make it. But those are exciting days. Then they left town, unfortunately, and became the Tennessee Titans. But
Yeah,
then
but I
year-
think they did pretty good last last year, last season. They did. They were not. Didn't they come to the playoff
Yeah,
last year?
I think they did the playoffs, but they didn't go very high. And I think they lost that real good defensive player there that everybody liked so much in Houston, J.J. Watts. I think they ended up trading him, which was a shame.
Yeah, he was their only good player.
Yeah, he was. And very nice person, they say. And he really donated a lot of money and time to charities.
Mhm.
He was always willing to sign autographs. He really appreciated the fans. And the fans,
You're not gonna be able to see that if you look over there, you'll be able to see that. Whatever you gotta do.
Mhm.
She can see them too.
Yes, you can see them and they can see her.
Okay, Suzanne, this is Mrs. Rojo, number 4.
Señora, ¿es usted Rocío Rojo? We need to unmute her, Judge. Un momentito, señora. Un momentito porque su micrófono no está prendido.
She's over there, so she should be at work. Not this one.
All right, so I should unmute this
Yeah,
one?
unmute yours.
Okay,
No, you're unmuted.
I'm
You can hear
unmuting.
her.
Okay, so we're good.
Susanna, you couldn't hear her?
Her microphone is not on. You can see the little microphone in red at the bottom.
Yeah, so we moved them over to like closer to the judges, to where the judge was sitting.
Mhm.
So that way we didn't have that much of the echo. Like
Oh, okay. You know what? Let me see. I'm going to ask her to remove her mask. Let me see if I can hear her.
Okay.
Señora, por favor. Okay. ¿Es usted Rocío Rojo? No, I really cannot hear her. Can you hear her, Mr. Marcantel?
No, I cannot.
No.
Just you.
Oh my gosh.
Mute yours, Judge?
Okay, hold on, let me mute this one again. You guys have to bear with us, we gotta get this thing figured out here. I can't find where the.
Unless you move the judge to the courtroom.
You wanna move me to the courtroom?
That's a good idea. We're gonna have to, so we don't have that echo.
Okay, bear with us, I'm gonna move to the courtroom, they're gonna isolate me, but that'll take care of this echo.
Okay.
Okay, so
Esperen
bear
un
with
momentito,
us.
señora.
Ma'am, un momento, okay?
Lo que vamos a hacer es, vamos a buscar otra computadora para el juez, porque cuando le prendemos a usted su micrófono, nos sale un eco tremendo, ¿ok? Un segundito, señora.
Yes. So what do you think, Judge? Okay, yeah. You're not gonna take a camera with you? I don't know if there's a camera. Let me check. Oh, the probably is. Yeah? Yes. So where's the speaker itself?
The microphone is here, the speaker is here, but the other speaker is here.
So then, is it because she's just too far from it? Or she that she can't be like,
That's two notes, right?
yeah.
So,
That's what I was saying, like, I think we just set the phone completely down and over that, because it thinks about the mute. Right now. You see what it does?
because that mic is too close.
Okay.
So,
Well, if the judge is over there, then we could just run it just straight off of this one. Yeah.
it's
Actually, it's getting down, so. Yeah. Yeah, and I have.
Okay, I can't find the.
No, it's over here, look.
Okay, Susanna, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Judge.
Suzanne, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear
I
me?
can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh, well,
They're very faint. Let me see. Let me try this. Let me put this on.
okay.
Okay, talk to me.
Hello, Judge. How are you?
Oh, I can hear you now. There you go.
Okay.
I
Maybe,
just got to get used to all this technology. Okay, I feel like I'm at the Indy 500 here.
Yeah,
watching
I
cars
know.
go around.
yeah.
Okay, now we just need Mrs. Rojo up front.
They need a moment.
Okay. I'm just talking to these other two.
Hold on though.
Okay. How are you this morning? You need a baseball bat. Hit me on the head.
I need a sign.
No, a baseball bat.
Do you think, Judge, that maybe it was your volume in your computer that was down?
I don't know. I just know when we're up front and we got two computers too close together,
Okay.
there's like an echo.
Yes, I could hear the echo.
So by moving me back here, I think they're gonna try to
That's fine.
eliminate as long as we can see each other.
Either that, or you probably can also sit on, in your courtroom. You have a computer there.
I do, but I don't have a camera.
Oh, you don't?
I only have so many cameras, so
Oh, okay.
I haven't requested too many from the. I'm surprised I haven't broken the ones I have with my picture.
In that case, you don't need any more cameras, Judge.
It all works out. This just proves my point that I could be sitting in my car in a parking lot somewhere and we could be doing
In
this.
fact, you know that sometimes I have done hearings where the police officer was in his car on the street.
Oh, I know. Wait till we get to the attorneys. They'll be working on a car or somewhere on a.
On a van.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Can we see if we can hear her? Si quiere decir algo, señora. Sí, me escuchan.
Sí, la escucho perfectamente, señora.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I already checked, and she is Miss Rocio Rojo, Judge. I'm not changing anybody's names anymore. I already checked, Judge, and she is Rocio Rojo, okay?
I know, but they're checking her audio first.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good now?
We're good, Judge.
Okay, all right. So Suzanne, tell her that I'm going to introduce her to Mr. Marcantel, who's the Assistant District Attorney who represents the state.
Okay.
He's going to explain to her what we're going to do today.
Señora Rojo.
Sí.
En este momento le quiero presentar a usted al asistente a la fiscalía, el señor Marcantel, el señor que tiene los lentes que está arriba, ¿lo puede ver? Y él le va a explicar en qué forma vamos a proseguir con su infracción, señora, ¿ok?
Sí, muy bien.
Okay. Very good.
Judge, before we start, what do you normally do? This is not a moving violation here, so I can't do defensive driving. Do I just do like a 60-day deferred, or what do you guys normally do?
What I can do is I think, give her defensive driving because there's something in there about parking. The reason why I give it to him, because this fine is $750.
Wow.
So you might want it, Suzanne, when we get to that part, but first I want you, Counselor, to explain to her how we're going to operate today.
Okay, all right.
Has she been sworn, Your Honor?
Yes, the constable swore in.
Okay, very good.
Okay, this is not a handicap placard situation, is it?
The way I look at it, that's probably what it is. Parking place. Do you have the ticket in front of you?
Oh, I need to look. I could look. Yeah. Okay, let me just tell her if you're okay with defensive driving, I am. Okay, so tell her she has two options today. One option is she could plead guilty, and then she could get a plead guilty or no contest and get a special offer from me. In that offer, I would dismiss the case the judge would dismiss the case if she would complete a defensive driving course and pay court costs.
Okay.
She has to plead either no contest or guilty to get that deal.
Okay, and I will let her know that if the judge finds her guilty, that the ticket really could be up to $750.
Exactly, and that's her other option. Her other option would be to plead not guilty, go to trial.
Yes.
But the risk there is if the judge finds her guilty, she's looking up to $750
Very
plus
good.
court costs.
Señora,
Sí.
le voy a explicar con respecto a su infracción. La infracción que usted tiene, señora, es estacionarse en un lugar que no está permitido. Para esta infracción, usted va a tener dos opciones. La primera opción es la siguiente. Usted se puede declarar no culpable, entonces le daríamos otra fecha para que usted regrese y tenga el juicio ante el juez y tengamos a la persona que la infraccionó para que testifique en esa audiencia. Esta infracción, si el juez la declara a usted culpable después de haber tenido el juicio, tiene un costo de $750. La segunda opción es que usted me diga que sí es culpable o que no va a disputar esta infracción. Entonces, el juez le permitiría a usted tomar el curso para manejar con mayor precaución y de esa forma se le retira la infracción a usted. Solamente usted pagaría los costos de tribunal, que son mucho menos que $750, ¿ok? ¿Qué quiere hacer usted, señora? ¿Qué le gustaría hacer a usted?
La segunda opción.
Okay, muy bien. I'll take the second option, please.
Okay.
And
The
she
course,
needs-
the driving course, okay?
Okay, she needs to plead then to the judge, not guilty. I'm sorry.
No, guilty.
Guilty or no contest. Thank
Ok,
you.
entonces, señora, usted me va a decir que su declaración es culpable, ¿ok? Dígame eso.
Sí, mi declaración es que soy culpable.
Ok, I plead that I am guilty.
Okay, so tell her I'm gonna give her 90 days to take
Okay.
defensive driving,
Ajá,
but she can go home tonight and do it in her pajamas on the computer,
ok.
get it over with, come
Ajá.
in and pay her court costs.
How much are the court costs, Your Honor?
I'd have to ask Miss Lena. I think
Okay.
it's
144.
144?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
Okay, all right.
now, if she can't pay that 144 right away, she has 3 months to save it up.
Okay.
But my advice to her is to go home and take it tonight. It has to be Texas certified defensive
Yes.
driving,
Okay,
and come in and pay that as fast as she can, and she can go on with her life. Because I guarantee you, 3 out of 10 people forget to get this done in 90 days.
señora, algo muy importante que le voy a decir. El juez le va a dar a usted 90 días para que usted tome este curso. Pero lo mejor que usted puede hacer, si usted tiene una computadora, lo puede hacer por intermedio de la computadora hoy mismo. Hasta usted se pone su pijama, está cómoda y comienza usted en la computadora. Asegúrese, señora, que el curso sea un curso que está aceptado por el estado de Texas, ¿ok? Si usted lo hace por computadora. Si no lo hace por computadora, hay varios lugares donde usted puede ir personalmente y tomar el curso. Cuando usted termine con ese curso y tenga su certificado, entonces usted paga los costos de tribunal, que son $144. Si usted tiene 3 meses para pagar eso de la fecha de hoy, va a tener 3 meses. Así que si en este momento se le hace difícil pagar los $144, usted tiene 3 meses para poder ahorrar un poquito. ¿Ok? Pero muy importante, señora, hágalo lo más pronto posible, porque tenemos gente que le damos 3 meses y parece ser que se les olvida y luego ya casi al final de los 3 meses, ¡ay, no tengo todavía mi certificado! Así que, por favor, lo primero que usted haga, sácase eso de encima y usted puede ir muy tranquila con su vida, ¿ok? Ok.
And I explained to her, we can't take it in payments. We have to get the whole 144 at one time because it's court cost.
Ok. Y señora, es muy, para los costos de tribunal no le podemos ofrecer facilidades de pago. Tiene que ser los 144 todo junto, ¿ok?
Okay, and also explain to her that she can pay that either at the kiosk or here at my office.
No, Judge. No, Judge. She has to come into the office to take care of the court
Oh,
costs.
she can't pay it? She can't pay it at the kiosk?
No, because it messes up all the financials
Okay,
on her case. So she can either come in, set it up, and I'll explain it to her when we're done, but she can either pay it in the courtroom, in the office, or she can mail in a check or a money order.
Okay, so you're gonna give her your email so
Yes,
that she
Judge.
understands that she has to contact you by email.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, all right.
Señora, le van a explicar exactamente cómo usted tiene que hacer ese pago, ¿ok?
Ujú.
Señorita que va a terminar, le va a dar las últimas instrucciones, ella le va a explicar exactamente cómo tiene que hacer ese pago, ¿ok?
Okay.
Ok, señora.
Okay, good luck, ma'am.
Que le vaya muy bien, suerte, ¿ok?
Gracias.
Ok, bye bye.
You're welcome.
Bye bye.
What do you say? De nada?
De nada, exactamente. Así mismo, muy bien.
Okay, all right.
I don't even know if we need a translator. The judge is really good.
No,
Oh, yeah, right, right.
I gotta keep my mouth shut.
I've got donde está comida down, let me tell you. Can tell by my boyish figure.
¿Dónde está comida?
Yep. Well, that's good. So you've been doing okay, Suzanne, over the years?
Yes.
What did you guys do?
I've been working using Zoom all last year, Judge.
Really?
Yes. You remember I do the mental commitments and those we cannot postpone.
Oh, okay. I just know that I haven't seen you for years.
So
I
I've
love it.
been doing that. I've been doing the guardianships. The judge were also doing the probate cases through the Zoom.
Mhm.
And then this year, I started already in January with JP7 again,
Uh-huh.
and now with you. Mhm.
And you're not doing JP3?
No. Just 7 and 2.
Wow. Okay. Well, hopefully that'll keep you busy.
Yeah, no, I've been pretty busy. Mhm.
Oh, good.
And you know, with the probate judge, oh my goodness, we had a lot of probate cases.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Passed away, and yeah, it's been pretty sad about that. But
Well, hopefully we're over this stuff. This stuff
I
will
hope so. I
get
hope so.
done and
Yeah.
move along.
We'll keep on. Have you gotten your vaccine already, Judge?
I'm waiting for the Johnson & Johnson up here at Albertsons. They have it. They just haven't gotten permission to give it to me yet.
I think they're gonna start. I think they said they were gonna start again.
Yeah, the one, everything I've read that's the one that's not synthetic. It's a pure vaccine. So that's the one I want to take. I don't want to take the.
That's the one my son in Las Vegas, he got the Johnson & Johnson.
Everything I've read, that's the one I want to take. So.
Okay.
So, but I've been taking other stuff. I've been taking vitamin C and zinc and HCQ, and all kinds of stuff. So, but
I was doing the same thing, and I thought pretty soon I'm gonna start glowing in the dark with so much.
yeah, but you gotta do what you gotta do to save. Especially, I just turned 65 on Sunday, so I was a little.
Happy belated birthday, Judge.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I had a good birthday. I got my kids bought me an ice maker for my man cave.
Oh.
So I don't have to get up to go to the refrigerator and get my ice.
When did you get a man cave, Judge? I didn't know you.
Well, when my mother-in-law moved in with us, she spent she spent a fortune putting this bedroom and a bathroom and a little living room in the front of my house. So when she passed, I just kind of
you
went in there. And it's my man cave.
Oh.
I'm the only man I know that has 5 closets. And my wife keeps buying me clothes. I said, I can't wear all these clothes. Quit buying me clothes. She goes, oh, but these look good. I said, I wear the same shirts. I wear the same. I'm a creature of habit. I wear the same 3 shirts, the same pair of pants. And she keeps buying me new stuff.
Oh, well, you're going to have to start wearing, Judge. Come on.
I tell you what, we went on a cruise back in 2005.
Mhm.
And I think we took 7 pieces of luggage. She had an outfit for me in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening.
Right.
And you know what I wore all week?
Uh-huh.
My swimming suit and a t-shirt. This is ridiculous. He's crazy.
How's Jerry, Dad? How is he doing?
He's, he's hanging in there, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me just a minute, Judge.
Okay. How's everybody down there at the DA's office? They getting secure in their outfits there, Mr.
Yeah,
Counselor?
yeah, they're doing good. Getting back to the coronavirus, somebody told me the other day, like the numbers are still like 2,000. They're like they were last summer. So we're not exactly out of the woods yet. Everybody's acting like it's over with, but it's not. And the thing that bothers me the most is like the media won't even publish that. You're hard pressed to find it on the internet. Used to be you could look it up and see how many active cases. Now all they want to tell you is how many new cases. They don't want to tell you how many active cases. I've noticed. They're hiding it. I don't understand that. I mean, I like people to still be aware it's an issue so that they'll be extra careful still,
Yeah.
And if
I
you think
know.
about it, let's pretend you get the Pfizer or the Moderna, right? They're 95%, I guess what, preventing the disease. But that means 5% will still get it. So that's 5 out of 100 will still get it. That means in a county like ours of 800,000, 40,000 can still get it. So, I mean, we're not out of the woods, and they say, well, if you do get it with the vaccine, it won't be as bad. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe the ones dying will just go to the hospital. Maybe the ones going to the hospital normally will just be miserable for 2 or 3 months at their house. And maybe the rest will have some permanent lung damage, but get over it in 2 or 3 weeks, I mean, it's not necessarily a good thing still, So I wish they would still kind of promote caution and all that, wearing masks,
But
using hand sanitizer.
and that's the problem. People are getting so, I think it's gonna be over. We're gonna come out of there, and they're just not being careful about it.
Exactly. And I mean, I thought millions of people getting the vaccines in the spring, millions more getting it in the summer, especially kids that keep dropping the age down. I mean, I think maybe by next school year we can be back to normal. Maybe maybe the numbers of coronavirus will be so low we can kind of be back to normal. But we're not there yet. So let's not go spreading this thing around. So I don't know. And I didn't even think about what the judge said. Now I'm a little worried about this whole synthetic one because my wife and I got that, and my daughter got it at UT, and then my son, we just got him his first vaccine at Walgreens last, a week ago or so.
Yeah, my nephew works up at Albertsons, and I went in there yesterday and I said, which one are you pushing? And he said, we're doing the Pfizer. I said, well, you got the Johnson & Johnson? And he said, yeah, we have it, but we just can't do it yet. And I said, well, put me on the top of your list. Call me when you can do the Johnson. Because everything I've read, it's the only one that is not a synthetic. And this one doctor said, if I'm going to take the vaccine, you want to take Johnson & Johnson. I said, okay, that's one I'll pick.
Is that right? He thinks it's safer than the synthetic, huh?
Yeah, because it's a true vaccine. He says it. And of course, he gave you some, they tried one of these synthetic back in the first SARS and the first MARS or whatever.
Yeah.
And they gave it to ferrets and cats. And 9 months later, all the ferrets and all the cats died. I don't want to scare you, but all the cats and ferrets died. So he said, if you want to take one, take the one from Johnson & Johnson. I said, okay.
I realized that, man. That's scary.
It is scary. That's why. And this HCQ thing, I saw the guy on Fox News said, I gave this stuff to my father who's 97. He had COVID on Friday and he walked out of the hospital on Monday. I said, well, hell, I want to go get that stuff.
Yeah.
And I called my doctor and he said, I can't prescribe. They won't let me prescribe it to you. I said, what? You're my doctor.
Uh-huh.
He said, nope, they, and I think that has to do a lot with Big Pharma, kind of no money in a drug that's been around for 50 years. It costs 2 cents a pill.
Is that right? And that's only if you get it though, right? That's not like a vaccine to prevent it, right?
No, this is what they give people in Africa for malaria. And it's a prophylactic. So you
Ah.
take one of these once a week. It's supposed to help you. It breaks down, and you take it with zinc, and you take it with vitamin C and vitamin D. Vitamin D is very important. You got to have D, zinc, and C.
Mhm.
Write that down. D, Z,
Zinc.
and Z like zebra.
Yeah, and now they've added another one. It's the stuff they give dogs for their heart. Ivermectin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta take 8 little pills because I'm a fat guy. They said, well, you need 8. So
We need D for dog, vitamin D for dog, zinc, and Z is and a vitamin Z like zebra.
Yeah, like zebra. Exactly. Like
And
the zinc will be the zebra, C, Carlos, and then D, David.
Oh, okay, so not vitamin Z, just zinc.
yeah, zinc.
Zinc.
Okay.
Yeah, zinc. You take zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. You gotta take a high doses of vitamin D, D3.
The zinc.
I hope, man, we didn't just kill most of the world with a darn synthetic one, man.
Well, I'm just, who do you believe? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but I try to.
I'm not either. That's why I was afraid of these things. I finally got myself talked into it. And then I was afraid to give it to my son because he just turned 16, he's still kind of young. But I also don't want him to get the virus. That's pretty bad too,
It's like I say, nobody knows. And I was going to keep doing this therapy that I'm on, but my daughter in Chicago says I can't come see my granddaughter unless I get a vaccination. So I said, okay, and she's blackmailing me.
I know.
Dad, no vaccination, you don't get to see my kids. So,
Hey, Judge, can I go offline? Judge, can I go offline just for a second while we're waiting on that next defendant?
Sure.
Okay, I'll be right back. Somebody
Okay.
needed to talk to me about something real quick. Okay.
Okay. Crazy.
Gosh, I know.
So how are they doing with it in Argentina? Have you heard?
Oh, well, they were not doing very well. Well, they closed the borders, especially with Brazil, because you know how bad Brazil was.
Yeah, Brazil was pretty bad, but what did they do? They did something.
Yeah, they closed the borders so that way you didn't have anybody from Brazil coming into Argentina.
Uh-huh.
And they got, I think they had the vaccine from Russia. That's the one that they were, and I don't know which one that is, Judge, the one from Russia, but that's the one that they were using over there. Mm-hmm.
Is it working?
Well, the people seem to be taking it, and I haven't heard that their numbers were going up, so it probably is working.
Yeah, well, that's good. I was just wondering how some of these countries were using. I know a lot of them are using this stuff HCQ, but
Yeah,
especially in Africa, because they
Mhm.
take it for malaria. They take it for malaria.
I got a quick question. Do we have any attorney cases today or is it all pro se?
I think it's all pro se.
Okay, all right, thanks. You know what it is?
Yeah. It's so I was wondering. I know that they were having a real problem in Purdue, and then I guess they got a bunch of this stuff, and then it
Mhm.
helped them turn it around. You wonder how they're doing it. Man, India's getting
Oh my,
slaughtered.
it is so bad, Judge, that people are almost dying on the streets.
Yeah,
That is
and there's a
really-
lot of them over there. There's
Yes.
billions and billions over there.
Oh my goodness, it is so sad to see them, and it's the lack of oxygen that they're not able to have enough for the patients. But you see, like the people in the hospitals on what they show on the news, they're on the hallways just sitting down there. Oh, this has really been a really tough thing.
It has really been. It's just been off. We have a lady on the board with me at the community college. She lost her parents and an uncle,
Oh my goodness.
and her parents were 64. I said, "That's my age."
Yeah.
She lost both the mom and the dad,
Yeah.
and an uncle.
Mhm.
So I don't know it's scary.
There was a defense attorney telling me a few months ago that he lost 3 aunts to the coronavirus. 3 aunts.
Wow.
And two of his best friends all his life that he grew up starting, he first had classes with him in elementary school. And this guy looks like he's probably in his 40s. So that means his two friends were in their 40s. He's been best friends with all the way up to the coronavirus, and both of them died.
Yeah, my nephew, who's this guy, he went to Ranger school at the age of 34. I mean, this guy is Mr. Stud, and he just it kicked his butt. He went out, he walked around the block, and he went home and slept for 4 hours. He said it's doing a hell of a job on his. This stuff attacks your lungs.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's your lungs, and what that malaria drug does is it breaks up that mucus before it gets to your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
They say that they've done some studies on young people, like in their 20s, that had the coronavirus, had very mild symptoms in their 20s. They felt like they rebounded from the coronavirus just fine. They feel like they had a full recovery. And so they took those people in their random sample and they gave them MRIs, even though they felt fine and everything else. And they said they showed quite a bit of lung damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it attacks your lungs.
So even if you have a mild case, you could potentially, maybe not in every case, but you could potentially have lung damage for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To get the vaccine, a lot of these people don't want to get the vaccine.
And also they noticed that besides the lungs, it was also affecting the heart.
Yes, I heard that too.
Yeah, and I heard it. Women under 40 were getting a bunch of blood clots. It was causing blood clots.
That's why they stopped the Johnson & Johnson, because some females, and I heard only on females, they were developing blood clot.
Yeah. Well, I passed that test, so I don't have to worry about
you don't have to worry.
I don't have to worry about that.
You're safe.
I hope so. I hope so, Suzanne. I hope everybody gets through it.
I know.
I don't know. Do they give you some kind of paperwork that says you're vaccinated? Because I don't know about.
Yes. When I got my vaccine, I went to, because my husband is a military, retired military. So we went to Fort Bliss, and Fort Bliss gave us a little card like that with the proof that we had both shots, because we got the two
shots. Yeah.
And so what I did is I took a picture and put it on my phone in case,
That's a good idea. I need to do that.
Yeah, because if you want to travel or something, I don't want to lose that. Okay. And so I put it.
I'm going to just get a magic marker and put a big V on my forehead.
There you go.
But so I put it on my phone, and I did, I was so worried that the first one was super, I didn't have any side effects, and everybody, the second one, you are just going to, it's going to kick your butt and this and that. And so I was supposed to go on a Friday, but the lady from Fort Bliss called me and she said, we're run out of vaccine, but we're going to get it next week. So can I give you an appointment for Wednesday? And Thursday morning is when I go to the mental commitments. And I go, oh, by any chance, could I have one like on Friday again? And she goes, no, we're only going to be doing on Wednesday. And I said, okay, well, if I feel bad, I'll have to call and tell them, I'm sick. I can work. So I went home, and it was already 7:00 at night. And I go, well, I don't feel anything. I'm okay. Okay. Well, maybe when I wake up, absolutely no side effects.
Yeah. My brother though, his second shot, he came, we work out every morning. We walk and he came up there and he said, guys, I'm going to give you the program, but I'm not doing, this thing is kicking my, he went home and he slept all day.
Yeah.
But after the second day, he said he was okay, but that second shot kicked his butt.
Yeah,
I've asked a lot of people about that before I got my shot, and it seems to be about an even, and this is just my personal sample, so it's not like scientific, because it's not enough people, but what I've heard, basically, I don't know about the Johnson & Johnson, but on Pfizer and Moderna, it seems to be about a 50-50 split. About half the people are like you, had no symptoms, and about half the people, it kicked their butt for about 2 days.
Yeah.
And for me and my wife and my daughter, we had no symptoms. And
Mhm.
my parents had no symptoms. My wife's parents had no symptoms, you know. My son he's had his first one, but not his second one yet. He's got a couple weeks to go, but so we don't know about him yet. But so we were all pretty lucky. I was worried about it because I had one of those dim shifts where a man in the police phone was like the next day, and I was like, man, I hope it doesn't hit me during that, you know. But no symptoms at all, you know. But then about half the people I talked to had real bad symptoms on the second day. So I'm bringing that up, Judge, just so you're not worried about it, because you might be part of the 50% that has no symptoms, you know.
Well, the Johnson and Johnson is only one shot. So once I get my shot, I'm done.
And
Yeah.
you know, my
That doesn't mean you won't have symptoms though. I don't know if you will or not.
Well, if I have symptoms, I'm still going to take all my preventive stuff. I'm still going to take my, I'm one of these, I'm a doubting Thomas. I just don't trust anything until
Yeah. Kind of the same.
I'm not gonna, you know, I figure I only got about 15 good years left. I'm gonna enjoy them. I'm not gonna.
we're not gonna let no coronavirus destroy those 15 years.
No, I want to make sure that, you know, travel a little bit, but I think my traveling is going to stay in the States. I don't think I'm going.
Well, right now, I
Yeah,
don't.
me too. I don't have any.
That is, and that is, you know, there's so many beautiful places here to travel to.
Oh yeah,
So,
my brother's girlfriend's brother just retired, and him and his wife's goal is to hit every national park in the United States.
oh wow,
That would take a few years, I would
yeah,
imagine.
that is true.
And then I guess they could start on the state parks after they got done with the national parks. But yeah, there's some beautiful places in this country. It's
Yes,
just
there are.
unbelievable.
They're very beautiful. So that will be no problem.
Yeah, but the one thing I like about the Zoom thing, though, we get to sit here and visit.
You know, I tell you, Yellowstone National Park, I have a lot of great memories growing up going there because my mom's from Montana, my dad's from Louisiana, and they both met after college in California. And then they ended up in Houston because my dad is a engineer for NASA, right? But he had an electrical engineering degree, but most of his career he did aerospace work, you know. But anyway, so every summer we'd go, you know, several times during the year, we'd go see my dad's family in Louisiana because it's so close, you know. Probably 4 or 5 times a year, you know. But with my mom's family, they were so far away, we'd go once a year, right? And so what we'd do is my dad would drive up there with us, and then he would stay for about a week doing touristy things in the Great Falls, Montana area. Then we go fishing and things like that, you know. Then he would fly back to Houston and he'd work for a month, and then he would fly back on a return trip to Great Falls, and then he'd hang out. We'd do some more touristy stuff for a few days, and then he would drive back with us because he didn't want us driving alone. And he also wanted to leave us a car while we were there. So that's why he would fly back, you know. But anyhow, we would go usually one way, either there or back. We'd take a kind of a direct route. And the other way, we'd go way out of the way. We'd see things like Mount Rushmore or the Grand Canyon or whatever, you know. But one thing we'd always do, either on the way up or the way back, was we would stop and we'd go through Yellowstone National Park and Grand Tetons National Park. And I really have great memories of that. It was wonderful. We really enjoyed it. So I would highly recommend for sure that park. You know, if you want to go with your wife or something.
I did it in 1969 on the National Jamboree.
Oh, wow. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, I was 13. It was for a month. We met over here at Zag White Boy Scout Camp. I don't know if you probably don't remember it, but it's where all the rich houses are now off of Sunset. That used to be a Boy Scout camp.
Okay.
And we met there, and it was all the guys from El Paso and southern New Mexico. We formed a troop, and we started out. And our first night, we went to Painted Desert in Arizona. Second night, we went to Grand Canyon. Third night, we were at a military base in San Diego. Fourth night, we were up in San Francisco during the 1969. That was the time of the Strawberry Hills forever, all the hippies in San Francisco.
That's funny.
Then we went up to Spokane, and then we went into Montana, and then went down into Idaho. And the thing I remember most is we had a direct link to the to Neil Armstrong when he gave
Oh.
us a special mission from Apollo 11 when he landed on the moon. He said to all the Boy Scouts at the National Jamboree.
That's awesome.
And another one of our guest speakers was great was Jesse Owens.
Oh, wow. You know, one of the things I've regretted, and we never seem to have the time or money. And then whenever we took vacations, it was always to go see grandparents because we don't live in the town where the grandparents are at. But I've always wanted, and I may do it next summer. I was going to do it this summer, but with the coronavirus and everything, we didn't. But I'd like to take my kids to Yellowstone and Grand Teton, you know.
Well, take them.
We need to, you know, but I'll tell you, and you got to take your wife up there, you know. She's probably never been, has she?
Oh yeah, are you kidding? My wife's the baby. She's so spoiled. She traveled with her parents. She had a horse when she was a kid. Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
Well, you guys should go share it together sometime. You know what?
Oh, we will.
The bad part is I've had people tell me, because I haven't been in years, you know, since I was in college. But people tell me it's not the same as it used to be. You don't see all the bears anymore.
Oh,
And it's now like a traffic jam going through there, like rush hour traffic in Houston or something.
Yeah,
There's
because
so many people in the park. It's just bumper to bumper. When I went as a kid, and when you went, I mean, it was like you were out on an adventure out in the wilderness. There was hardly any cars, and when you saw cars, it was only because a bunch of people had been stopped a while watching bears or buffalo herds or something like that. And then there was a handful of cars, and then eventually you moved on, and then it all dispersed again. And now they take all the fun. A lot of the fun is gone because now it's like you're in a big city. There's so many cars. So
That's like Yosemite. Yosemite in California, same way. It's
Is
just
that right?
bumper to bumper because
What?
everybody's going to those. You know, I went to Ireland the first time in 1983, and we went to the Blarney Castle to kiss the stone. You know,
Yeah.
and then I went again in '85 with my wife. We both kissed it together on our honeymoon.
Oh, that's neat.
And then in 2017, my brother said, "Okay, we're going to do a boys trip." So he took the last surviving four brothers. And man, you talk about commercialized. I mean, they tore it out at parking, and I mean, there's little. You got to go through a little, you know, like a Disney.
like a roller coaster type of.
Oh, it's like the Disney ride where you got to stand in line and you go back and forth, back and forth, and it's just it is so. They said, "We love you, Americans. We just love you guys." And the first time I went there,
like that, when it's all commercialized, you know.
when I first went there, they had this little old guy up there, this little leprechaun. He holds your legs, you know, and of course he has a little bowl there. You're supposed to tip him. And I said, I hope you don't mind me asking, but if everybody gave you $1, how much would you make? He said, well, I'm only allowed to work 6 months. In Ireland at the time, you could only work 6 months, and then you have to go on unemployment, and another Irish guy would get your job. So everybody had a job. And he said, I'm here for 6 months, and I take home about 375,000 pounds.
Oh my God! What's that in American dollars?
Oh, 400,000 probably. Back then it was probably 400,000. You know, the euro. I don't know I don't know what the exchange is now. And I said, my God. He says, yeah. I don't tell too many people, but since you're an American, I'll tell you. But I don't have to worry about you trying to get my job. But I do very well.
Yeah, no kidding.
You American,
man.
And he told me, he said, that's if everybody just gives me one pound. I said, you Americans, some of you guys give me 20, 30, 40.
I'll get mine next bowl too, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna go work there, man. 6 months out of the year, and you're pulling in $400,000.
Yeah.
I can't pull that in. I can't even get close to that.
Yeah, but you got to understand. I just got back from Florida. We went to Florida. We went to a place in Savannah, the fort outside of Savannah that they had to protect the harbor. And we ran into a couple from Ireland, and he was a chemical engineer, and he went to work with a chemical company in Florida, and she was a school teacher. And I told him I went there in 1985, and she said, that's the year we came to the States. And I said, well, why did you? She said, thank God, because my husband made good money as an engineer, and I made good money as a teacher, but we could they took 60% of our money in taxes.
Wow.
We couldn't survive. She
Wow.
said, we come to the States and man, it was like, woohoo. And they never went back.
Wow.
But it's,
You know, one of those places on my list that kind of reminds me, it's called the Bayou Wildlife Park. And I forgot how many acres it is, but you go there and you pay a little bit of money to get in, and then you pay for, each person pays for a bucket of food if you want to, but I recommend that. And it's better if you go in the morning because you want to go when the animals haven't been fed by too many people. So a lot of them will come eat out of your bucket. And then the rest, if you throw it, they'll come over there and eat it, right? But if they've already been fed too much, they won't get up. They'll just eat it later when you're gone. You don't get the reward, you know. But it's fun for the kids. And you go there and you sit and you wait in this area, and they have picnic tables set up if you want to eat, bring food and eat or whatever. But you wait for your tram, and your tram is like this modern type wagon that has like 4 rows of seats, and it's hooked to like a Jeep Wrangler or Jeep, what do you call those long ones, like a little pickup truck. And it pulls you through the complex, and you can stop every so often to feed the different animals. And it's got European deer called fallow. It's got all kinds of African animals with those wild horns and stuff. It's got some giraffes and hippopotamuses and alligators, and it's got just all kinds of zebras and camels. The camels eat out of your bucket. You can touch the humps and things. The ostriches and emus. Ostriches and emus will come peck out of your little bucket. You can the kids can touch them, and it's pretty neat, you know. And anyway, the way it got started was there's a U.S. military guy who was stationed in Europe somewhere. I forgot where exactly. And he fell in love with a local girl there, right? And he's trying to talk her into marrying him and moving back to the United States. And she didn't want to come, you know. She was in love with him apparently, but didn't want to go to the U.S. But she loved animals. So he promised her if she would come to the United States, he'd buy her a small ranch and he'd populate it with all kinds of animals from all over the world, I guess, you know. And that's how it got started. And so, but then he realized not too long after buying the ranch and buying the animals that it cost a fortune to feed them and to take care of them with vets and everything, right? So that's when he got the idea to start charging admission and letting people come see him. And that's what he's been doing for the last 50, 60 years, you know. And a lot of schools will go during the school year on field trips there, you know, and they give them a break on the price and stuff. And even in the summertime, a lot of the schools that are doing summer school or they're like daycares or whatever, they'll come and stuff, you know. It's really fun for the kids or the grandkids, you know. I like it as an adult myself, you know, because you're up close. They're not behind, some of them are behind cages like the alligators and the rhinoceros and the giraffe or whatever. But a lot of the animals are just free range, you know, and you can see them up close, not in a cage or whatever, you know. So I think it's kind of fun. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's over there, not too far from the Clear Lake area. I forgot if it's Alvin, Texas, which is the home of Nolan Ryan, or Friendswood, somewhere in that little area. It's on the list there, but it reminds me kind of what you're talking about, you know, a European guy and an American guy marrying somebody and coming back to the States, you know. But anyway, he had a little different incentive, you know. He wasn't taxes. He and she were interested in. It was him being in love and wanting.
He did it all for love.
Yeah,
I know. What a story.
kind of interesting. Yeah, I forgot who told us that. I guess we were making small talk with some employee there. It wasn't him. You'll see him walking around. He's an old man now, you know. He looks like he might be in his early 80s, late 70s. You know?
Okay.
But I'm afraid of what's going to happen if he passes away. The heirs may decide just to sell it all off, and that would be a crying
Yeah.
shame.
That's what happens, you
It's
know.
fun for the kids, you know.
But the guy that started the Fabian Steakhouse out here, he was a German officer stationed at Fort Bliss,
Is that
and
right?
he's the one that started Fabian Steakhouse.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the one that did all that out there.
It's called Fabian Steakhouse?
No, it's called the Great American, but it's
Or
at
Calvin? Or
no, it's have you never been out there? Mile marker 49 at the Fabian's exit. You take a left and you go out to the Cattleman's.
oh yeah, Cattleman's we've done. So
Okay, well that's what he started at, and he was a German officer back in 1966.
Cattleman's, you said. That's
That's the name of it, Cattleman's.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Out there.
I didn't know that. That's a neat place. I really love it. It's a German officer, huh? I have to tell my my mother-in-law and father-in-law and my wife and all that. They'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah,
My father-in-law has seen that place on TV on these national food shows.
well, it's several movies they filmed out there.
Yeah.
They got a couple of movie sets out there. They fought that one with Meg Ryan and the guy that did La Bamba. That they did a Iraq war movie out there where she was shot and they had to do a big investigation. But they did some of those scenes out there.
I need to watch some of those movies. It'd be fun to watch them, you know, now that we've been out there. You know, I hadn't gone there. I've been here all these years. I've been here 19 years now, and we never went until about 3 years ago. Some of my coworkers insisted we go. And we went and we had a real good time. And I'm kicking myself. I was like, man, they have a bunch of playground areas and everything else.
And they have animals. You can take your kids to go see the animals. They
Yeah.
got a zoo
I
out
wish
there.
we had done, we did it anyway with them, you know, several times, but it was all in the last few years. I would have liked to have done it when they were young and they would have really enjoyed it. You know, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
enjoyed it more than they do now anyway.
And
I
they,
wish we had gone sooner. It's kind of expensive though, but
yeah,
it's,
yeah, but the meat is excellent though.
Oh, come on. You work for the DA. You have more money than
yeah, right. Yeah,
I-
I got more,
if
I got
you-
more
if I-
student loan debt maybe. but-
if I had your money, I'd burn mine.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's funny, but not my student loan debt.
You're not supposed to be paying the student loan debt, Dad. That's for your kids. You're gonna never get out of debt if you're paying for your kids.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm paying as much as I can for them. I could have paid a lot more if I didn't. if I
Oh,
wasn't
that's right. You're
paying
still
my own.
paying. You're still paying your own.
Yeah. Isn't that
Oh
pathetic?
my.
I've got about 2 years left.
Oh, wow.
He went to
Look how old I am.
university.
You went to law school. You know how much? You know how much money my daughter and her husband owe?
How much?
400,000.
Holy cow.
And my daughter got a full boat ride wherever she went. But I said, "Why do you owe so much?" Dad, I had to live. Of course, she lives in Chicago, the most expensive city in the country.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I said, "Why do you live here?"
Well,
Oh,
Tulane,
Dad.
Tulane is a private university, isn't that, Mr. Marcantel?
Which one?
Tulane?
Tulane. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so see, that's your problem. You should have gone to a regular one.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, when he went to do Tulane, his dad was paying. He was the engineer.
Well, my parents paid for my bachelor's degree at University of Texas at Austin. I got a business degree there. And my wife's parents paid for her bachelor's degree. So we were blessed there. 100%, you know, room and board, tuition fees, everything. But when we decided to go back to school and get the advanced degree, see, I worked for a number of years with my business degree, and my wife did too with her degree in education. She's a teacher, and then she went back to school and got a master's, and we had to pay for that. And then I went back to school and got 2 law degrees, and we had to pay for that. That's the problem. But at that point, both of our parents were getting too close to retiring, and they needed to save for retirement. You know, so we borrowed too much money, but it was just for the advanced degrees. You know, and my kids, I'm paying what we can, but they're going to have to borrow the difference. That's one reason I talked my daughter into going to UT Austin, because it was so much cheaper, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she got into these highfalutin schools, they charge highfalutin prices, you know. I mean,
Oh yeah.
for a 4-year degree, you're talking over $300,000 for room and board and tuition and fees. That she got into Johns Hopkins, Rice University, Notre Dame, Pepperdine,
Oh yeah.
email some others, and waitlisted at Cornell. But yeah, they're just too much money, man. You know, and they give you, they're like, oh, we'll give you this big scholarship, right? Well, yeah, it sounds like a lot of money when they give you a $160,000 scholarship, right? But yeah, but you still got to borrow 150, 140, you know? I mean, it's, you know,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
so expensive. And then like UT was 118,000, they gave her just a $30,000 scholarship, but because the price tag is so much lower, I mean, then you're down to like 88,000, you know? I mean, much lower than those private schools after the much bigger scholarships they give you, you know what I mean? And so, and then, I mean, Rice wouldn't have been back because it's in Texas, but those other schools, then you got to pay a fortune getting the kids back and forth from school, you know?
Oh,
Like
yes.
your daughter in Chicago, that's not a cheap flight, you know? You fly from here to
No.
Austin, it's not so bad. Here to Houston, it's not so bad. Here to Chicago is a lot of money, you know? And they want to
Oh.
come home for Thanksgiving, they want to come home for Christmas, they want to come home for spring break, and then for the summer. I mean, that alone is a lot of money.
She never came home. I was the one that always had to go up there. She didn't have any money, but I tell you, there was a judge that went to teach at Cathedral. His name Barajas, and he came up to me at one of the Cathedral homecomings, and he said, "Brian, I want to thank you." I said, "For what?" He says, "You saved me $80,000." I said, "I saved you $80,000." He says, "Yeah, my kid went to early college high school. I only had to pay 2 years at Notre Dame. I saved 2 years of tuition."
That's awesome.
I said, "Wow." He said, "But I want to thank you for starting that program at the college, because 2 years of college, that's at you, like you say, Notre Dame, $40,000 is probably 60 now. Okay, we got somebody coming in.
It was over 300,000 when my daughter got accepted. I think it's, I don't remember what it is now, but somebody was telling me the other day. Let's say 300,000. What would that be?
Judge, I'm sorry to
yes.
interrupt.
Yes,
Number 5, which is our 1020, was a no-show.
okay. You got that, Counselor?
Yes,
Number
sir.
5, Jaime Cabral was a no-show.
So what do we do, Judge? You give them another summons or warrant? or what?
I think, we don't do a failure to appear anymore,
No.
do we, Lena? We have to
No,
read.
Judge, what we do is we can set on a notice, but I mean, these are pre-trials, so they'll contact the court when they're ready, either for their scofflaw or they want to get rid of the case.
Okay, all right, so who do we have next?
Yes, I agree. And Cynthia's right, Judge, since these have been reset since last year, so they've been on hold for a year. We'll just wait until they contact the court.
Okay,
We don't do warrants anymore. We just hold their license hostage. Do they?
Well,
contact-
yes, Mr. Margentel, these were set for a pre-trial, so they haven't, we don't have a plea or anything like that. So scofflaw typically picks them up and then they'll come in, and at that point, we can set them up for court again if that's their choice.
Okay.
okay, so who do we have next, Ms. Linda?
Well, our next case is at 1040, Judge.
Uh-huh,
So let me see if there's anybody here for the 1040.
okay.
Are you Carlos Salcedo? Yes, okay.
Has he been sworn in?
No, Judge, hold on, give me a second.
Okay,
Did you just come in through that door, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, this is Carlos Salcedo, number 6 and number 7. Cynthia's just going to screen him in so we can get started on the cases, on the
Okay.
cases.
so you got that, Counselor, number 6 and number 7?
Okay, we're bringing them in.
Yes, sir, he's being screened by Cynthia, and then he'll be sworn in by the constable.
Okay,
You know what I'm gonna do instead of that?
Sorry.
All right, so I assume we're doing 6 first?
yeah, we're gonna do, it's the same defendant, and I'm gonna let you explain to him that he has 2 violations.
Okay.
And then you're gonna have to ask for a plea on each one individually.
What do we do on seatbelt violations?
Like we did last time, when there's a seatbelt class they can take.
That's right. And then, of course, we have the drug paraphernalia class too.
And that, and let them know on the drug paraphernalia, Suzanne, the fine is $500.
No weapons. No.
The fine on the seatbelt is $50.
Is there also a course for the drug? paraphernalia?
Oh, yeah, and they usually take that. They don't want to pay $500 plus court costs, so.
I'm gonna get.
So the court costs, they have to pay, even with the class, they got to pay the $50 court cost on the seatbelt.
Well, the seatbelt, I think, is $50 plus court costs, yeah.
Plus, they have to pay that whether they're taking the class or not, or no?
Well, they have to pay the court costs, not the fine.
Okay,
The fine is $50 plus court costs.
okay. They both got to pay court costs plus the class.
Right. Okay, Mr. Salcedo, my name is Brian Haggerty. I'm the Justice of the Peace here in Northeast El Paso. You're here today because you got a ticket, probably by a DPS officer or a constable or a school police officer or someone from DPS. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Señor Saucedo, ¿usted habla inglés?
Sí, sí entiendo inglés.
Ok, ¿prefiere español o quiere en inglés?
Pues prefiero español.
Ok. Usted tiene 2 infracciones en este día, señor. Estas infracciones pueden haber sido por diferentes agentes que lo hayan infraccionado a usted. Una de las infracciones que usted tiene es por el cinturón de seguridad y la otra infracción que usted tiene es por posesión de adminículo de droga, señor.
Okay, and Mr. Salcedo, I'm going to introduce you to the Assistant District Attorney. His name is Mr. Marcantel. He represents the state of Texas. And he's going to explain to you how we're going to operate this court today.
En este momento, señor, le voy a presentar al señor Mark Antel, que es el asistente a la fiscalía aquí del estado y representa al estado de Texas. Y él le va a explicar cómo vamos a proseguir y qué opciones tiene usted para estas dos infracciones, ¿ok?
Okay, so,
All right. You have two choices, basically. The first choice, you can plead not guilty, and the judge will set you for a bench trial. Both sides can call witnesses. The judge will hear the evidence, and he'll decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. If he finds you guilty on the seatbelt violation case, you'll have to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs.
Seatbelt's $50.
I'm sorry, $50. $50 in court costs. Thank you, Judge. $50 in court costs. And then on the possession of drug paraphernalia case, if you go to trial and you lose, you'll have to pay a $500 fine and court costs. That's option number one.
La primera opción que usted tiene es la siguiente. Usted se puede declarar no culpable. Si usted se declara no culpable, entonces le daríamos otra fecha para que usted tenga el juicio ante el juez. En ese juicio se presentarían testigos de parte del Estado y usted también puede presentar sus testigos. Una vez que el juez haya oído la evidencia de ambos lados, el juez determinaría si usted es culpable o no culpable. Si lo declara culpable a la infracción del cinturón de seguridad, serían $50 más costos de tribunal. Y si el juez lo declara a usted culpable por posesión de adminículo de droga, entonces esa multa tiene un costo de $500 más costos de tribunal. Ahora le vamos a dar la opción número 2, ¿ok?
okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Marcantel.
Option number two, then you and I would work out a plea bargain deal. And the plea bargain deal would be on the the seatbelt violation case, you would have to take a course approved by the state of Texas, and you pay them directly, and then you have to pay court costs. If you complete the class and take court costs and give proof to the court that you've completed the class, we'll dismiss the case, and it will not be on your record.
Lena, what's the court cost on the seatbelt?
The court cost on the seatbelt, Judge, is $105,
And on the drugs?
$81.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Mercantile.
Okay, and then on the drug paraphernalia case, if you take a course for that, pay for it directly with the course provider, and then you pay the court cost, and you prove to the court that you've successfully completed the class, we will dismiss that case and it will not be on your record. That's the deal. So that's deal number two. So which one do you want to take? If you want to take the first deal, then you plead not guilty and the judge sets you for trial down the road. Or you take the second deal, you plead guilty or no contest, and then you go take the classes and pay the court cost for dismissal, and it does not go on your record.
La segunda opción que usted tiene, señor, es que usted se declare culpable o que no disputa la infracción. Entonces, de esta forma, el asistente a la fiscalía le puede ofrecer a usted que usted tome un curso para que de esa forma se le retire el cinturón de seguridad. Este curso, usted paga por el curso y luego tendría que pagar $105 por los costos de tribunal y retiramos esa infracción. Para la segunda, para la de posesión de adminículo de droga, también le ofrecerían a usted tomar otro curso. Y usted toma ese curso, nos presenta el certificado que usted ha completado y ese curso, le retiramos la infracción, usted no tiene ningún antecedente y el costo de tribunal serían $81. ¿Qué quiere hacer usted con respecto a las dos opciones que le hemos dado?
Pues me gustaría ir a las clases.
Okay, I'd like to take the course.
Okay, I have to hear from him, not guilty or no contest
Okay,
on both,
entonces
on both charges.
Ok, entonces para poder tomar estas clases, señor, usted me va a responder que usted se declara culpable a ambas infracciones, ¿ok?
Ok, sí, me declaro culpable.
I plead guilty to both violations, Your Honor.
Okay, let him know that he'll have 90 days to do both classes.
Okay?
Tell him to not dilly-dally, to get to him as soon as possible, because if he comes back at the end of 90 days and he has not taken the classes, he will owe the whole fines and court costs.
Okay.
Now, he should be able to do both of them. If he can't find the seatbelt, because I know they have to go through Thomason Hospital.
Mhm.
You have another place for them. They can take the seatbelt violation course online also.
Okay.
And tell him that they both have to be Texas certified,
Mhm.
and he can do both of them tonight in his pajamas if he wants to, but to get it taken care of.
Ok. Señor, le vamos a dar 90 días para que usted complete estas dos clases que usted tiene que tomar. Le voy a recomendar que usted lo haga tan pronto sea posible. Lo puede hacer por internet. Las dos clases, la del cinturón de seguridad como también la de las drogas, la puede hacer por la computadora. Pero asegúrese que el curso, si usted lo hace por la computadora o lo hace personalmente, asegúrese que este curso sea un curso que está certificado por el estado de Texas. Usted lo puede hacer en su pijama si usted quiere, porque pero trate de hacerlo lo más pronto posible para que de esa forma usted le manden su certificado y le podamos ya retirar esas infracciones. ¿Ok?
Ok, está bien, gracias.
That will be fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, good luck, sir. Get it done as quickly as you can.
Ok, que le vaya muy bien, señor, y por favor, hágalo lo más pronto posible.
Muy bien, gracias.
Okay. Adiós.
Okay, for both of your FYI, number 11, that one has been paid, so we won't have court on that one.
Okay, so then we'll go to the until 11:20 then, Judge?
No, that's the 11:20, but we got the one coming up is number at 11. She has 5 cases.
Oh, so she only paid the first 2.
No. At 11, Michelle Hernandez, we're going to hear all 5 of her cases.
Oh, okay.
I'm just letting you know at 11:20, if you guys want to take a break in between here,
Okay.
Carmen Grotto has paid that.
Oh,
So you're
Carmen Grado is the one that paid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we, depending on when we finish with the 11 o'clock, you'll have 20 minutes between number 11 and number 12. If you need to use the restroom or want to go get a drink or anything like that, just to give you a heads up. Okay, so this is working out pretty well. It's better than I thought. I was going to put our big TV out in front, but we didn't have time this morning. So, but this is helping with the echo and.
Oh yes, it's super clear right now. There is absolutely no problem.
Yeah, it seems like we've got it figured out, so that's pretty good. I think Mr. Marcantel is ready to go back to open court.
Are you serious, Mr. Marcantel? You want to go to open court?
I kind of do prefer it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
The only thing is we volunteer to do the DIMS phones, they call them. You know, we man the phones after hours for the various police agencies. They can't make a warrantless arrest unless they first present the case to us. And then if we decline the case, then they just, they let the guy go, If we accept the case, then they go book in. Well, first they go type their police report. We review it. We have them correct things and make sure things are clear and all that, rewrite it. And then when we're happy with it, then we give them a booking number and they go book the guy and they get their bond set by the magistrate and all that stuff. Right. And so there's different shifts we can work. One is like, so anytime they have a crew that does that as part of their regular job, they work 8 to 5, but they man the DIMS phones 8 to 4. here, and they're just on salary. But they have to have people that man the phones from 4 p.m. to midnight, and they have people that do it from midnight to 8 a.m. And then on the weekends or holidays, then they have to have somebody from 8 to 4 during the daytime, right? So they have people do that. So part of what I do is I do those DIMS phones, graveyards. Like on Friday, I got one midnight, Friday night to 8 a.m. Saturday morning. I hate the graveyard ones. But anyway, a lot of the ones I get are also 4 p.m. to midnight. So the problem is, like when I'm doing DIMS when I'm doing these things online, I have no problem making my 4 p.m. DIMS
Oh.
job, and it's just down the hall from here in our screening department, But if I have to drive from somewhere, well, then I'm probably not going to make it back in time for 4 o'clock. I can't pick DIMS there, so that's gonna hurt me some. I don't know.
You get paid extra for that, right?
Yeah, we get paid extra for that. All these years, Judge,
There's that college loan, get
yeah,
paid off,
exactly,
right?
exactly. all those years that I worked, long hours in the felony courts, working till 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. I don't get paid 1 penny extra for all that. Not 1 penny. No comp time, no nothing. But if I man the DIMS phones, well, then I get paid extra,
Oh.
Ah,
So it helps
so
supplement the
so this wasn't a demotion. This is actually a pay raise for you.
what? Well, yeah, it is. You're right.
Coming
Because
from
it's a lot less hours.
coming from the felony courts to the JP. I thought, well, who did you upset? Why did you get a demotion? But
Yeah.
you actually got a promotion.
Yeah, I guess a good way to look at it. Yeah, I volunteered for it because I figured it'd be a lot less hours. But
I would think though the JP court would be more interesting because the other courts, first of all, it takes forever to get to court.
yeah,
And then you got to keep up on all the motions and all that stuff. But
yeah,
I love this court because you settle it, you done, and
yeah. It's less stressful. It's less hours. It's more fun just because we're talking, having a good time here. If I was in the felony courts, man, or even the misdemeanor courts, I'd be all stressed out because I've got all these cases I got to subpoena. I got all these notices I have to send the defense attorneys. I got all these victims and witnesses I got to talk to. I mean, I'd be pressed for time, and any time wasted is time you're here later that night,
sounds like you'd be like one of my clerks that have to do all this paperwork.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is a lot of paperwork. I remember when I was in law school getting my advanced law degree, there was another student there with me I became friends with, and she was actually a professor at a law school in Baton Rouge, and we were going at Tulane University for the advanced law degree. And she said, she had worked for big law firms for a number of years in New Orleans because Tulane's in New Orleans. And then she got a law professor job in Baton Rouge, right? She said, I hesitated taking it at first because it was a lot less money. But she said, I was just tired of all the hours in the law firms. And I was also tired of all the pressure because those law firms, they're constantly laying people off and then rehiring people, then laying people off, then rehiring people based on the economy. As it goes up and down, they lay off and rehire, And she said, I had a lot of friends that unexpectedly got laid off. And then they're worried about how they're going to make their car payment or their house note and all that.
Or their student loan payment.
Yeah, exactly. So she said she decided she'd go be a law school professor instead. And she said, I really love it. She said, number one, it's more fun. Number two, it's less stress. And number three, it's a whole lot less hours. It's like 8 to 5 versus, 8 to 8 or 8 to 9 every night, And she said, I realized after the first year that I actually got a pay increase. And I'm like, well, how do you figure that? Because I don't remember what the salaries were now, but she told me at the time, law school professor, I think was just over 100,000, and her law firm job, it was like, I don't know, 180, 200,000, something big, And she said, I don't remember what it was now, but whatever it was, she said, I calculated out my new salary divided by the number of hours I worked, and I calculated out my old salary by the number of hours I worked. And she goes, I make more per hour now as a law school professor than I did as a law firm attorney. She said that my gross pay is down, but my hourly rate went way up. She goes, and my quality of life went way up. She goes,
Yeah.
Because I have hobbies now. I have life outside of work. I can go have dinner with my friends. I can go do things. When I was at the law firm, all I ever did was work, even on the weekends. She said it's a much better life. And what you're saying is kind of reminds me of that too. I make more per hour now than I ever did before. Even though my gross pay didn't go up, my per hour rate went up because I'm not working till 8, 9 o'clock every night anymore.
Yeah, it's the way it is. I gotta go real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Well, this one that we have at 11 o'clock, my goodness, 3 of those, 4 of them are no license. And of course, without a license, I guess you cannot have insurance. So
Yeah, that's true too.
I wonder if she's going to show up.
Yeah, I do too. The kind of person that picks up 5 things like that is probably not the kind of person that's gonna
Yeah. You know, usually like that, Mr. Mercantile, those people are not able to get a license because either they are don't, illegally here or whatever. So
Well, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him, but what, I mean, do they usually, when does he usually finish court? By 3 o'clock, you think, or what?
Well, before when we will be in the courtroom, okay, we will have from 9 to 11:30. But what happened is we bring everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
We just we will have about 20, 25 people or 30 people that were coming, and so we'll be done by most of the time by 11:30, 12.
Oh, he doesn't even have an afternoon docket usually?
I think some of the afternoon dockets that he has, they might be maybe for the lawyers, just the lawyers without the clients.
Okay.
I don't know how he, but the only time that I stayed in the morning and the afternoons were for the truancy cases. Those were the only ones that I did in the afternoon. Well, we used to do before they changed the law, we used to do morning and afternoon, the truancy cases. We used to have hundreds of those cases.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They've really cut back on those.
Oh my goodness, yes. After they changed the way that they were gonna operate with those in reference to those cases, yes. We used to have about 80 sometime in the morning, 60 in the afternoon, or 60 in the morning, 80 in the afternoon. Yeah, we used to have a lot.
Wow.
When they cut that, then it started, just trickling down, because the school, I think, are the ones that's supposed to intervene first before the court does. So that changed a lot.
I think that's better, actually.
Yeah.
Intervene at their level first, and if it doesn't work, then you step up and go to the courts.
What they do with the traffic, I will only come maybe once or twice a month, because they put all the Spanish speakers or the people that they're gonna need the interpreter just on that day, which is smart. So that way, you're not.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a feel for, like, there's certain days I won't be able to do DIM, so I want to make sure I don't pick them on those days. Like,
Okay.
Lujan out there, I got to cover Lujan's court. He's so far out, I would never make it back in time for a DIM shift, So I know on those days I can't pick.
Yeah.
And I know in Josh Herrera's court, I know I can pick those because he's usually done by 3 or 3:30, and all I got to do is walk downstairs to go to the DIM phones,
Yeah.
And then maybe Pearson, I could do it because he seems like his dockets usually end by 3-ish. And he's only a few miles up from the courthouse, so I could probably make DIM shift.
Yeah, you're not that
before.
executive. You're not. Judge, do you have court in the afternoon?
I have court whenever the ladies tell me. Crystal is my one clerk that operates. I don't think she wakes up till 1. She just she's a night person, and not that she doesn't work in the morning, but she just doesn't. She's not firing on all cylinders.
All cylinders, okay.
Okay, and I'm the opposite. I get up real early, and by 1 o'clock I'm ready for a nap. So those are interesting days.
I only come in the morning to your court. Except when we had the truancy. Remember when we had truancy?
And guess what? We're getting it back.
Really?
Oh yeah, we have. As a matter of fact, we have 40 cases.
Yeah, I know.
When is that, Mr. Mercantile?
Yeah.
May 20th? May 20th. I think May 20th, we have 40 cases.
That's morning and afternoon, or just afternoon, or what?
that's gonna be in the after, I have.
Oh, yeah. Suzanne will tell you, we used to start at 9 in the morning and we didn't get done till 5.
That's what she told me. She said that you guys would have like 80, 100 cases, easy.
Oh, yeah, it was packed. We had 4,000 cases. When I first came here, we had 4,000 cases.
Wow, I
You're
think she
gonna
said
have-
One year.
Judge,
for half a day, like it was that many in the morning, that many in the afternoon kind of thing. I mean, 100, 80 something, 60 something, right, per half day.
Whatever we could fit in the courtroom, I think we can fit in 100.
yeah, and
And we would go. It was all day. It was twice a week. I was the only JP that would do it on Friday, and the other JPs would always ask Ann, "Why do you go to JP 2 weeks?" She said he requested me, and we would have 2 solid days
Mhm.
Now,
of
she,
truancy.
now she was saying that there's a lot less now because of the new laws they passed.
Yeah, they passed it in 2015 because some legislator's kid got a $500 fine, and he said, "Well, I'm going to change the law," and he did, and now it's kind of a. And Ann and I went through the law, and she said, "Judge, this is horrible. There's no." The whole idea is that they didn't think that the truancy should be in the courts. That's basically.
Yeah.
And the only reason they left it in the JP court is they were going to turn them all over to the JPD. But all the people that run JPDs all over the state went back and said, "Look, we don't have time for this. We have kids that are rapists and killing people. We don't have time for truancy.
Armed robbery, yeah.
You gotta leave it. You gotta leave it to the JPs." And then they made it a fee. It's I
It's
can't
just-
ask them if
it's
they're guilty or not guilty. I have to say, is it true or not true? Because I might hurt their feelings.
Ridiculous. Yeah, they should have the fines where they have enough teeth to get people to comply. But
Oh,
I do like the idea that the schools have to intervene more first before they go to court. You know,
Yeah, and Suzanne will tell you, I had a special class once a month,
uh-huh,
and I'd take them over here to the police station. They had to come in the evening, and it was Suzanne would come because I'd have a lot of Spanish speakers, and she'd take them over to the side. But I'd have somebody from DPS, somebody from Homeland Security. I had all these people telling the parents how much trouble their kids could get into, how these cartels get them to carry dope across the.
mhm.
And I showed them how if they stole the dope, how the cartels would burn them in a 55-gallon drum. And I mean, these parents were just going, "Oh my God." And of course, his dad is telling these ladies that speak Spanish only. And these kids would tell him in English or tell him in Spanish, "Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about." Well, Suzanne was telling them in Spanish. And I tell all the moms, I said, "You're the queen of your house. Everything in your house belongs to you.
Mhm.
So no matter what your kid brings home, it's yours."
Yep.
And these kids are going, "What?" And I said, "You should know what they have on their phones. You should be looking at their phones and what they're doing on the kids were going nuts." And these parents would be going, "Okay, now we know. Okay, we know. It was a great program. And
I think you should still do it, man. It sounds like a great program.
well, they took it away from me.
Oh, you're not allowed to?
Well, there was no bite. When you give somebody a $500, I had a guy come up to me and he said, "Judge, do I have to pay that $500 fine?" I said, "Absolutely not. All you got to do is go to my class." He said, "Well, I don't want to go to the class." I said, "Well, leave your check at the front desk and you're good to go." He said,
Mhm.
"Well, I guess I'm going to go to the class." I said, "No, you don't have to. This is America. You don't have to go, but leave your $500 at the front desk."
Yeah. That gave them a lot
It
of.
was a great incentive.
Yeah.
A 2-hour presentation, Judge. You
Oh,
had a
yeah,
2-hour
it was.
presentation and,
Well, those cartels are scary. Yeah, man. They need
oh
to-
yeah, we had a movie and everything of the cartel and how the kids, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, Ann and Matt went out there when she thought I was being hardcore, I guess, or something. But after she was there, she said, "Judge, this is amazing. Every judge should be doing." I said, "Hey, I got to get these kids in school. I got to get them to graduate." And it was a little extra. It was kind of like your DIN phone thing, but I didn't get paid extra. But
That's like my regular overtime. I don't get paid extra. They just slave drive you.
I tell you, it was impressive. We had we had program. I had like 50 programs to send them to that they could go and,
That really makes me mad the legislature did that. I do like the fact that they make the schools go out to the house and send letters and try calling. I like the fact that make the school try to handle it first. We don't have room for all those thousands of cases you're talking about. And it shouldn't be in the courts if you can rectify it there, right? I mean, just like, kid misbehaves, you don't call the cops on him, you just make him go to after school detention,
right.
If that doesn't work a few times, well, then you maybe call somebody and suspend them or whatever, But anyway, but they should still have it with teeth in a crime, so that you can force them into programs or you can hit them with a big fine. Well, you don't like that, Dad? Well, then make your kid go to school and you won't have to pay a $500 fine. There needs to be some teeth there. You don't take away the teeth just to get the school to try to handle it locally first. They need to go back and revisit that, take the best of both and refashion it. Big fine still, but the school tries to handle it locally first. If it doesn't work, well, then you ump the ante and you send them to the courts, and then the courts got the hammer, But right now, hammer, you have a feather.
I used to have some rental property, and this one kid told me, he said, Judge, I was in your courtroom. And I said, what? He said, yeah, you fined my mom and dad $1,000. He said, my dad beat me for a week. I said, well, did you graduate? I did. I said, well, then it worked.
Yeah. It didn't catch their attention with $100, man.
Oh, $1,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then I tell the kids, and you got to pay too. And when you're 17, you come back, you can't pay. I'm going to send you to the county jail. And guess what they love in the county jail?
Oh yeah, I remember I had to say that. Remember they pass you like cupcakes or something.
Pass you around like a cupcake.
Yeah.
And their eyes would get real big.
And I know the parents will go, oh, like that.
Yeah.
No, I had most of.
I still remember, Judge. They like the little young ones.
Yeah, and the parents would get up and say, thank you, Judge. Finally, somebody's talking to, and they'd come in with their pants around their ankles, and I'd make them go out and pull their pants up. And, and I told them, I said, you know where that came from for wearing your pants down around the ankles? And they said, what? I said, that's what the prisoners do. So they don't have to pull their pants down. Whoever's going to be their new cupcake, they just walk up. They would go, what? What? What are you talking about? I said, pull your pants up and wear them like you're supposed to.
Wow.
And they would go. Ann loved it. We had a great time. Ann and I and Suzanne, and we used to have a pretty good time.
But yeah, that's what it takes, though. Scare them. I mean, whatever it takes to get them back in school,
And that's what my wife came one day and she said, Brian, you can't tell those kids that. I said, I got to get them in school. I don't care what I have to do. I got to get them to graduate.
Yeah.
They do not understand how much important it is to graduate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I still have kids today come up to me and say, Judge, and I always worry that they're going to beat the hell out of me. And said, well, I want to thank you for making me pull my head out and get my degree.
And then for the girls, we had the, remember the speech was about how they will get married because they didn't, do anything they couldn't sustain themselves. So then the guy will be watching the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. And if he lost, he starts beating her because that's how.
Because he lost his bet and he's all drugged up.
So she was going to be beaten because, he just felt bad that day and he needed to get it out on somebody. But since she didn't have an education, she couldn't do anything for herself. So all of that was.
Yeah, they can't leave. They have to stay because
they had to stay. Exactly. So that was it. We had the cupcakes and the beatings. Okay, that was it.
Okay, they need to revisit that. Do you guys have any kind of lobby throughout the state where you can lobby Congress at least give you the $500?
Counselor, I was the only judge that went down to. I talked to both committees in Congress and the committee in the Senate, and said, "Do not do this. Leave El Paso out of it. We're doing good." And they said, "No." They brought a little 12-year-old girl in, and she was crying. And isn't it right? The judges me. Oh yeah, the judge makes me cry. Oh. It was a joke. And I was the only one from the whole Rio Grande Valley, the whole Rio Grande that was there. We had one other guy out of Collin County, And he was there to say, look, you can't do this.
Mhm.
And they said, we're gonna do it anyway. So I said, okay.
You should have had all the judges throughout the state going, and you should have had all the principals throughout the state going, packing the House, packing the Senate, and
But
saying,
you-
don't do this.
You know why it's so important? Because our schools are funded by the state by attendance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And we had all our high schools up to around 97%. And as soon as they changed the law, they all went back down to around 80. And they're sending money back to the state.
is that right? Is that big a drop? See, that's perfect proof right there, But the
Well-
bigger picture is you don't want these kids not being able to get jobs or anything, or, working minimum wage the rest of their lives because they don't have an education, I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
word runs fast through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
When I was there, they said, this guy he doesn't horse around. And I told you I'd go to the schools and tell them, over here, I'm a nice guy. You don't want to come to my court because when you're in my court, I'm not a nice guy. And then when they came to court, I said, do you remember me telling you not to come here? And the one kid one time said, they'd all go, yes. And I said, well, why are you here? And he said, because we're stupid. I said, well, there you go. I went to you and told you not to come, and here you are.
Yeah.
And they would just go. But I would do anything. I would go talk to them. I would do that thing on Monday nights once a month, and we got it down. We went from 4,000 cases down to 2,000. We got it down to about half. And then they changed the law, and then it dropped.
Anyway.
'Cause it was a joke.
But do you agree though that the school should be intervening first before they send them to you?
Well, they were intervening. They were. And what bothered me with the new law, counselor, is what they did was that they would give them a 45-day grace period.
Mhm.
I said, okay, give them the 45 grace period. But if they're not doing it in the 10th day,
Mhm.
bring them to court. They're not doing it. Why are you waiting the full 45 days? Well, because the law says we have to. I said, that's not what the law says. You have to put them on a program for 45 days. Well, if they don't show up for 44 days, why do you wait till the 45th to bring them to court?
Yeah, the problem is they
Doesn't make sense.
No, especially because in 45 days, they fall too far behind. They've already blown the whole semester by that point. They've fallen too far behind. They should be 15 days or something like that. You got to nip it in the bud.
Yeah. And I told, and then at the end of the year, if you don't get this all done by June 15th, it all goes away. You start over in August.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it goes. This is the craziest law they've ever written. It is. Ann and I sat here for an afternoon going through it. She said, Judge, this ain't worth the paper it's written on. It's a joke. I said, well,
I wish somebody could champion going back. I wonder if Moody would champion that, man.
I don't know. I talked to I even had my brother who was a state rep for 20 years. He'd go in there. He's the one that got me into most of and he would talk to because he knew how to talk to the legislatures. I mean, him and Whitmire got into it a couple of times when I was sitting there, and Whitmire was saying, Pat, he said, man, you can't do this to these kids. Got to get them through school.
Who said that?
Me.
Oh, yeah.
But Whitmire was one of the ones that he was the senator that sponsored the new bill.
Oh,
Maybe you said 11:40?
Yes, his
Okay,
name
thank
is,
you.
Ricardo Garcia.
Ricardo?
Mhm.
All right, are we ready for Mr. Garcia? Ricardo
So
Garcia?
He's filling out a form
He's
for me real
filling
quick.
out his form, but I just wanted to let you know, we're gonna go ahead and hear number 12, which is Ricardo Garcia.
And I'm gonna check
Okay.
again outside to see if,
Michelle,
yeah.
okay,
I didn't
thank you.
see her.
I didn't
So
see her either.
on Michelle's, as of yet, she's a no-show.
Okay, so 8, 9, 10, and 11, or 8, 9, 10, a counselor is a no-show.
yeah, we were predicting that earlier.
Okay,
And number 11, Mr. Mercantile, she paid the fine in full online, so
Okay.
we crossed her off.
okay. So now the next one is Ricardo Garcia. Okay,
And then we'll have two more after that.
And then we have one at 1, Miss Susana.
Oh, just one more?
One more at 1, but that's on a different docket.
Oh,
Same link.
Yeah, it's the same link, so just stay on here.
okay. All righty. I won't move.
Okay.
And it's Richard Garcia, you said was coming on now, right?
Yes, Richard Garcia,
Yes.
we're gonna do, and he has a speeding and no driver's license.
Oh, did you get that email I sent y'all on the vacations? Did it go through?
You know what? Let me check.
I haven't checked anything yet, Counselor, but my clerks, I'm sure will check it.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos días, señor.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, my name is Judge Brian Haggerty. I'm the judge here in Northeast El Paso. You're here because you got a ticket probably from a DPS officer or a constable or a school policeman or a sheriff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Marcantel. He is the representative from the state. He works for the state, and he's going to explain to you how we're going to operate today.
Señor García, el juez que le acaba de hablar a usted es el juez Brian Haggerty. Él es el juez de este juzgado de paz aquí en el noreste de la ciudad del Paso. Y usted ha recibido 2 infracciones de uno de los varios agentes que tenemos aquí en la ciudad. Y en este momento el señor Marcantel, que es el asistente a la fiscalía, le va a explicar a usted en qué forma vamos a proseguir con respecto a sus 2 infracciones.
Bien.
Okay, Mr. Marcantel.
All right. You have 2 choices. One choice is you can say you're not guilty and you can have the judge send it for a bench trial. And then you can call witnesses and the state of Texas will call witnesses, namely the police officer. And the judge will hear both sides and he'll decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. If he finds you guilty, you'll have to pay a $200 fine, correct, Judge? And court costs, and the speeding ticket and the no driver's license will stay on your record. And then but if you win at trial, then of course you just walk out, it's all over, you don't pay fine or court costs, but you're taking a gamble, right? Now, the second option.
Let Suzanne, don't get too, because she'll be talking for an hour. Let her go ahead and explain. Not to interrupt, but let her.
That's a good idea. I forget we have translating.
Okay, señor García. La primera opción que usted tiene para estas 2 infracciones es usted se puede declarar no culpable. Si usted se declara no culpable, entonces le vamos a dar otra fecha para que usted regrese aquí a este juzgado y pueda tener el juicio ante el juez. Vamos a llamar al oficial que lo infraccionó para que él presente testimonio de parte del Estado. Y usted también, si usted tiene testigos, puede traer a sus propios testigos. Y una vez que el juez haya oído toda la información, todo lo que se declara en el caso suyo, entonces él tomaría una decisión si usted es culpable o no culpable. Si usted es culpable, si lo declara culpable, pues entonces usted tiene que pagar la multa y además de eso, estas infracciones van a entrar en su récord de manejo, señor. Si lo declara no culpable, pues entonces usted se va tranquilamente y me imagino que muy feliz. Mr. Marcantel, what else did you want to add?
Or he could choose option number 2. Option number 2 is nice because after he completes, if he takes the plea bargain offer, after he completes everything, the cases are dismissed and it does not go on his record. And what he would have to do is, on the speeding case, he would have to take a defensive driving course and pay court costs. And again, after he shows his certificate of completion to the court, they would dismiss the case upon him paying court costs. And then on the no driver's license case, on that one, if he proves to the court that he does now have his driver's license, then the court would dismiss and he'd have to pay. Is it court cost, Judge, or just a fee?
It's a fee. I could just charge him the fee, which would be $20. But I could charge him court costs, but if he gets the driver's license, it would be a $20 fee.
$10, Judge.
$10. I'm sorry, $10.
$10 fee. So we
Thank you,
dismiss
Lena.
it. When he proves it to the court, has a driver's license, we dismiss it with a $10 fee. All right, and then if he wants that second deal, he will have to plead to the court here, either not guilty or no contest. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Guilty, you have to plead guilty or no contest to the judge. And then he gets that deal, that good deal where the case is dismissed at the end and it doesn't go on his record.
Okay.
If he wants to do if he wants to do the bench trial, then he'll have to plead not guilty. And he'll have to tell the judge which one he wants to plead in a minute.
Okay. Mr. Mercantile, I have a question. How, if he doesn't have a driver's license, how long are you going to give him for him to get his driver's license?
But we're okay with 60 days. If we can let it work, that's a different
Let
opinion.
me give you all that information then, okay?
Usually, Suzanne, usually I give them 90 days because 60 days isn't long enough.
Okay,
90
we'll go with the court. He's got more experience than I do.
Okay, we'll do the 90 days. Señor, esto es lo siguiente que yo le voy la siguiente opción que yo le voy a dar a usted, ¿ok? La opción número 2, para que se le retire a usted la infracción, sería la siguiente. El asistente a la fiscalía le ofrecería a usted que usted tome el curso para manejar con mayor precaución, que es el Defensive Driving. Una vez que usted toma ese curso, nos trae el certificado que usted tomó el curso, entonces retiramos esa infracción y usted no tiene ningún antecedente en su récord de manejo. Para la licencia de conducir, ¿tiene usted licencia de conducir en este momento? Señor, no lo oigo a usted.
No, no tengo.
No tiene licencia. Bueno, entonces el juez le permitiría a usted que tenga 90 días para que usted pueda sacar su licencia de conducir. Entonces, una vez que usted saca su licencia de conducir y nos presenta la licencia, pues también se le retira esta infracción y lo que usted pagaría son los costos de tribunal. Entonces, hay dos opciones. La primera es tener un juicio y ver si el juez lo declara culpable o no culpable. La segunda es tomar la oferta del asistente a la fiscalía, tomar el curso, poder obtener su licencia y de esa forma usted no tiene ningún antecedente en su récord de manejo. Si usted quiere tomar la oferta número 2, usted se tiene que declarar culpable o que no va a disputar la infracción. Si quiere la número 1, usted se declara entonces no culpable y el juez le daría otra fecha para que usted regrese y tenga el juicio ante el juez. ¿Cuál de las opciones usted quisiera tomar? ¿La número 1 o la número 2?
Pues me declaro culpable y puedo pagar el ticket en pago si se puede.
Ok. ¿Usted no quiere tomar el curso?
No.
Your Honor, he said he doesn't want to take the course, but he will plead guilty and he would like to pay the violations in payments.
What he will do is fine him, Suzanne, and then he'll have to make an appointment with my clerk, Lena, and then he has to come back and ask for payments on a payment plan, right?
Judge, right now, the county, as far as we know, they weren't accepting payment plans.
The county is not accepting payment plans?
That's what the last I heard. I think Cynthia went over there to talk to you.
Hold on just a minute. Let me put myself on mute. Suzanne, tell him just a minute. Let me talk to my clerk.
Un momentito, señor, por favor, ¿ok? Vamos a averiguar si usted podría hacer los pagos en mensualidades, ¿ok?
Ok, gracias.
Pero si usted paga la multa, va a tener antecedentes de manejo, señor, ¿ok?
Ok.
Nomás le quiero recordar eso, que su récord va a tener su antecedente.
Okay, we have a little problem. The financial recovery, we don't know where to send someone for a payment plan.
Okay.
So what I want you to ask him is if I reduce the fines, can he just pay the fines? And I'll give him 90 days to pay the fines.
Okay, how much will be the fine, Your Honor?
Well, on the speeding, I'll
Mhm.
reduce it to $50 plus
Work on.
court cost, which is 100 and, what is it, Lena?
Court
150?
cost- No, Judge, court cost for this speed was $81.
Okay, so that's gonna be a total of 131.
Okay.
Okay, 131. And then on the driver's license,
Mhm.
I'll give him 90 days to bring in proof that he has a license.
Mhm.
And if he does, then it's just a $20 fee. But if
10.
not,
$10.
Oh, actually, I'm
$10.
sorry. With this one, because he did come to court, it would be court cost, Judge.
on the driver's license,
Yes, sir.
okay, but I would have the right to reduce it just to the fee if I wanted to, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so tell him, Suzanne, that if he gets a driver's license
Mhm.
and he does it within 90 days and no tickets, and
Mhm.
I'll explain to him another thing about getting an occupational driver's license so he don't get a ticket until
Okay.
he gets his
Mhm.
license. But if he gets it within 90 days, I'll drop it to a $10 fee.
Okay, plus court cost. Okay.
No, just a
No
$10,
court cost,
just a $10 fee.
just the $10. Okay.
All right.
All right. Mire, señor, le voy a explicar algo. En este momento, el condado no está aceptando mensualidades para poder pagar las infracciones. Entonces, lo que el juez está proponiendo es reducirle a usted el costo de la multa por el exceso de velocidad. Sería $50, le está bajando la multa a usted a $50 por el exceso de velocidad. Y además de eso, hay que pagar los costos de tribunal, que son $81. Entonces, para esa multa, el total de esa multa es $131, ¿ok? Para la licencia de conducir, el juez le daría a usted 90 días para que usted saque su licencia de conducir. Y le podemos explicar también que usted podría tener lo que le llaman una licencia ocupacional, que quiere decir, eso le vamos a explicar más adelante, pero le daría a usted 90 días para que usted pueda obtener esa licencia de conducir.
¿Y cuánto sería el costo del no licencia?
How much
Ahorita.
will it be for no license, Your Honor? How much will it be the cost for no license?
The cost for no license is court cost plus $200. But I want to understand, why does he not have a driver's license?
Ok, el costo serían 200 más los costos de tribunal, pero ¿por qué motivo usted no tiene licencia de conducir, señor?
Estoy en trámites y no tengo ahorita seguro todavía
¿Está en trámite de qué, señor?
de arreglar esta
La residencia.
residencia. Sí.
Right now, I am working in getting my residency. I don't have it yet, and that is the reason why I can't have it.
So, I would be willing
Por
to,
eso es que quiero pagar, porque ahorita no tengo oportunidad de sacar licencia.
Ajá, y por eso quiere pagar para que no tenga ningún antecedente cuando le den su residencia.
Exacto.
And the reason why I want to pay for this is because I don't want to have any outstanding tickets so I can get my residence.
Well, that's why he shouldn't be caught driving.
Pero por eso no debería de usted estar manejando, señor.
And the reason why he got caught was because he was speeding, and that gives the police officer a probable cause to pull him over.
Y el motivo por el cual, señor, es que usted le dieron esta infracción es porque estaba yendo a exceso de velocidad y eso le da justificación al policía para pararlo a usted.
Sí, estoy de acuerdo.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Mhm.
And there's 27 police, different departments in El Paso. If he wants to get his residency, he better start walking or taking the bus.
Señor, tenemos 27 departamentos de policía acá en El Paso. Si usted quiere obtener su residencia, por favor, tome el autobús o camine para que no tenga ninguna otra infracción.
Okay.
Okay?
They're gonna catch you.
Porque le van a pescar de vuelta.
I'm okay with, if, based on the circumstances here and all, I'm okay with 12:45 and the no driver's license into the speeding.
Okay.
to do the
Okay,
speed.
so what the DA is saying, Suzanne, is that we're gonna put these two cases together
Sí.
at 12:45. So his total amount would be 131. That would be on the speeding.
Okay.
But stress that if he wants his residency, there's no way for him to get an occupational, is there, Elena?
No, I
No,
don't.
Judge.
Okay, all right. It's very important that he doesn't get caught, because some courts are not going to be as lenient as this one.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that he gets his residency, but
Mhm.
they're going to catch him if he's breaking any laws, I'm telling you, in a car, because there's just so many of them running around.
Mire, señor, el asistente a la fiscalía, para que usted pueda obtener su residencia, ha decidido que solamente le va a cobrar a usted los $131 por el exceso de velocidad. Le van a retirar la licencia de conducir. Pero quiero que me oiga, me ponga atención y me haga caso. Si usted quiere, señor, verdaderamente tener su residencia, y es lo que nosotros queremos para usted, no maneje, señor. No maneje hasta que usted pueda tener su residencia y pueda usted entonces sacar su licencia de conducir. Porque lo que está haciendo este juez en este momento es un regalo para usted, señor.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
That's fine, but tell him to be careful.
Ya le dije, I already told him how careful he needs to be, and he needs to pay attention what I just told him step by step, Your Honor.
Okay, good luck, sir.
Que le vaya bien, señor, entonces, y no se olvide esta vocecita que acaba de oír hoy aquí, que le queda ahí en el cerebro. Cada vez que se quiere meter al coche, ¡ting! Va a salir mi vocecita, ¿eh?
Okay.
Ok.
Entonces, ¿cuándo debo pagar? ¿Ahorita o cuándo?
Ahora le va a decir la señorita cuánto.
Ok.
¿Ok? Ok.
Muchísimas gracias, muy amable.
De nada, señor, que le vaya bien.
Ajá.
I told him that he's going to hear my voice forever, Your Honor, like on his ear. Don't drive. Okay, so we got that. I think the next one, it will be at 12 o'clock then. Should we take our break then now, Mr. I did receive your email, Mr. Mercantile.
You did? Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I just checked. I did receive it.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
And we still have one in the afternoon at 1, right?
Yes. But we have the 12 and then we have the 12:20. But it's only 11:30. So do we have our break now, Judge, until 12 o'clock? Or is the person out there already?
I don't know. I think you got till 12. It's 11:29 right now,
Okay.
so you can take a break, and I'll see you at 12.
I'll connect. I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it on, and I'll come back at 12 then.
Okay,
Okay. All
Good.
right.
all right. Yeah, I feel for these people.
Yeah.
I don't, but you start speeding, you're giving them probable cause.
Yeah, you can't take a chance, man, because you just can't take, it's too easy to make a traffic mistake, you know?
It is, I know I'm perfect, but I use my cruise control and I got popped the other day. I was going off the access road right there where my daughter lives at Rutherford.
Uh-huh.
Well, it drops from 60 to 45 like right now.
Wow.
And I didn't get down to 45 and that little officer pulled me over and I said, dude, I was at the speed limit's 45, Judge. You gotta what the heck? He was nice though. He just gave me a warning, but dang. So I really pay attention now at that one intersection because
That's the problem. See, it's that easy to pick one up, you know, if you're not a citizen and you're trying to get residency, I mean, you're just asking to make your life hard, you know?
yeah, what do they do on that? If he gets a ticket, do they throw him back across or what do they do with him?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what immigration does. I don't know.
know either. I didn't know they couldn't get a driver's license. That's interesting. So that puts them in a bad spot too. So better hurry and get their residency. Because it's hard to get around without a car, you know?
Well, like I tell them when they come to my court, I say, you walk out this door and you walk 10 steps over. That's called a bus stop.
Yeah.
Wait for the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people under that stupid surcharge law. God, what a dumb law.
Yeah.
But they would say, Judge, I have to drive. I said, no, you don't get to drive. It is privilege. You're
Yeah.
going to get caught.
Yeah.
And I had people in here owe $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in surcharges.
Hmm.
I called it surcharge hell. I said, you never get out. You just keep
That's true.
shoveling.
Yeah.
You're never going to get out. And I asked my brother, I said, Pat, who passed this stupid law? He said, Brian, originally, when it was presented to the state legislature, all that money from the surcharge was going to go to all the county hospitals along the Rio Grande.
Mhm.
And he said, but then what happens at the end of the legislature, all the bills they pass, you understand, don't pass until they go through what they call a committee of 5 senators and 5 Democrats. So they sent it to this committee and they said, okay, that bill passed, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to say 10% of that money goes to the county hospitals. The other 90 goes to the general fund. And that's how it came out of committee. And that's what the governor signed.
That's ridiculous.
And I told him, I said, Pat, these people, they're never going to get a driver's license. So why would you make it impossible? So we have all these people driving around with no driver's license.
Yeah.
Because they owe all this money.
And they're never going to pay it anyway, man.
Well, they never had the, he said, Brian, and I said, and why did you make it a certain, you couldn't pay it all at once. You had to do it in increments of 3 years. You or me couldn't go in and say, here's my $3,000. I'm good to go. Oh no, Mr. Tiger, you have to show up every year. And if you miss the date, guess what? There's a penalty. I said, this is the stupidest law I've ever.
Yeah, it's too easy to miss dates too. People are busy, you know.
And I told him, I said, how do you guys come up with these? He says, Brian, there's no such thing as good intentions. They all have good intentions, but they never turn out the way. They finally got rid of it.
Oh, good.
I said, Pat, this is it. And then why would you do a surcharge? Why don't you just raise the fine?
Yeah.
Why do you- Surcharge.
It's ridiculous.
Dumbest damn thing.
Not only that, now that you probably can't get car insurance if they don't have a license, right?
Yeah.
So now you got all these people driving around with no insurance. And then you and I have to pay more for our insurance. And we have to get under, high premiums for under and uninsured motorists because all people driving around without insurance because they can't get it even if they want it because they don't have a license. It just continues to snowball.
Yeah, I just had Cynthia come in here. This lady had a parent contributing. She was in court 2008. And she said, I was on a payment plan, Judge, and then I couldn't, I forgot or I had a stroke. And she says, I have $200 right now. Yeah, that's all I got. I said, well, why don't we just waive that fine? It's 2008. Why do you dime and nickel these people forever.
Yeah. I agree.
So anyway, I'm signing the papers now that I waived the fine. You know, it's just.
We're at
2,000.
485 in that one. Remember, we're just going to dismiss it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
They caught it. Trust me, my clerks caught it.
Next hour, huh?
They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
My clerks are the best. I tell you,
That's
I-
because you train so well.
I make sure they're well trained, huh?
That's because you train them so well. Yeah, you send them to that training every year. I think they should all follow your lead. The other JPs too.
I tell the judges, I said, take care of get your clerks trained and your life would be so much. I go to those classes and they said, Judge, how do you handle this? I go, Crystal, how do I handle it? I said, what? I said, I have clerks that there's no way one person can know all this
Who
stuff.
pays to send them to get trained? The county, right?
Say what?
Who pays to send them to get trained?
Well, when I first started, the county would only send 4.
Oh,
And I said, no, I'm going to send them all. They said, well, we're only going to pay for 4. And so I said, well, I'll pay for the other 4. Because I look at it like the Army. You know, I think I told you this once before. I said, half the platoon doesn't get to sleep in and the other 4 get to go to training. They all go together.
yeah.
So they said, well, Judge, I said, well, I'm going to close the court for a week and I'm going to take them to training. And I'll bring them back because when not only do they learn, because you know you can't catch everything in class, so they're all talking. And like you said, it's a big bonding.
Mhm.
And I mean, they sit out here; they're pretty close. I mean, it's like a little pit. I think you've been out here, but it's a very very close quarters. But it's a break for them, kind of like because I used to take them to. Some of the training was in Galveston. Have you ever been to the St. Louis?
Yeah, it's a very nice old hotel. Yeah.
They gave them great rates for those in the off season.
Uh-huh.
So they all get to go down there and get to spend a week in the St. Louis. And the judge is paying for it. I pay for all their food and everything. They don't have to spend a dime. And they're just, man, this is great.
You're paying that out of your own pocket?
I pay it out of my wedding money.
Wow.
Yeah, I give them their bonuses and I pay all their training out. They used to have this thing called
The
training.
money never relented? They never agreed to send them all?
No, they only send 4.
That's ridiculous, man. I thought they turned around after a while, but they didn't.
Well, some of the judges won't send any of them.
I mean, why not send the 4?
I told you, they're afraid that they're going to learn more than the judge. They're going to be afraid that they're going to think the judge doesn't. I'll tell you right now, I don't know shit. They know it all. I am very truthful. I'm the dumbest guy here. Other than I take them to training.
Yeah.
They had this thing called training at sea. And it was a cruise. So I took them. The first time the county paid for 4, they paid to get them down to Galveston.
Mhm.
And then I paid for everything else. Well, somebody got it that Haggerty's taking all these people out on a cruise, and Jaime Abeda, he does some kind of podcast, The Lion, I don't know. So I get a call from the television station, and they said, Judge, you took all these clerks on this cruise. I said, yeah, it's training. You know, it's what they have training on. It's sanctioned by the Texas Training Center, or what, Justice Training Center. They said, well, who paid for it? I said, well, the county paid $1,600 and I paid $5,700. You paid $5,700? I said, yeah, out of my own money. I paid $5,700 and the county gave me $1,600. I said, I want you to understand, I have the only certified master clerks at the time in the whole county. There's 200 in the state. I got 7 of them. And they were trying to make it sound like I was wasting the county's money. Well, then guess what they came up with?
Yeah.
They came up with the JP2 rule. You can't go to any training over water.
What?
They wouldn't pay they wouldn't even pay the 4. So
That's-
that year I said, screw them, I'm going to pay it all. So I just paid it all and did it anyway.
They train. It's just dumb. Yeah, those other judges ought to follow your lead, but they don't want to pay out of their pocket, I guess. They ought to at least send their four.
Well, they just don't get it. And again, I'm fortunate. I have a retirement from the fire department and they pay me pretty well here. I have no bills, so. And these girls work their butts off and they don't get paid anything.
Yeah, so it's
So-
a little morale booster like that. So, what are they called again? Master clerks?
Master clerk, that's the first one, it's a Title I clerk is, they take a test. And that's just a certain, that's like evictions or bad debt or whatever. The master clerks, they gotta take a test that covers everything. That, and there's only, like I said, there's only like 200 of them in the whole state.
How many in El Paso other than your 7?
I think there's one at Judge Herrera's, court coordinator's a master. And I think that's it.
Wow.
And I've been trying to get the county since 2015. I said, these girls need to get incentive pay. They went out on their own to get this certificate. They need incentive pay and they give incentive pay to the constable deputies. I said, how come the deputies get incentive for a certificate that they're required to have to be a constable? These girls don't get paid jack. I said, this is not right. And I've been yelling and screaming for 6 years, and all I get is, we're looking at it, Judge. We're looking at it. We're looking at it.
Yeah.
So,
That's-
but I guarantee you, I'm the only judge that has the same crew that he started with. I have not had anybody leave except one for retirement.
Wow. Yeah, why? It says a lot about you. Yeah, those, yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, you paved the way for them. They have to fall in line, you know?
Well, they just don't. I don't know why, but that's why I always tell you to give Luan over. Because he always tells me how great his court is. And I say, how many master clerks do you have, Judge?
I'm gonna have to ask him that next time.
He goes, oh, shut up.
He could have some fun out of it. You go with him too, don't you?
Yeah, I went one time and I walked in to go into the class and the guy at the door says, are you a judge? I said, yes. He said, this is for clerks. You're not allowed in here. I said, okay, I'll go play golf.
You
Yeah.
haven't gone since?
Huh?
You haven't gone since?
No, I take them down there because I got to pay everything. I got to have my credit card and I got to have
What do you do? Rent it like a big van or something or what?
the county will allow me to take 2 vans and I put them all in the van. We used to just take a big old white and it was uncomfortable as hell. And we would Galveston is 16 hours. It's a long ways to get down there. But so what we did then is we went and we rented 2 Dodge cars and we got and we'd stick them all in there. And then one time they take those and then I took my big truck and put all the luggage in my big pickup truck. So I paid for my own truck and my own gas in my truck, but it's an experience. And then they get an experience. They love it. I'm telling you, it's a great motivator. And you should see all the comments when that guy wrote the article. And everyone says, can I get a job there? Hey, is there any openings? I wish I had a boss like you. But yeah,
Yeah, you know, other judges might have fun hanging out down there with you when they're having their people trained, you know?
yeah, it's just but it's and we go on that and then we would go on those trainings on the sea and the judges on the boat they were just so they love my clerks. They said, every one of you are a master clerk, and they just could not believe it. So
Yeah, sounds like a good idea to me. I'd do it. You've got me sold.
well, and I give them an incentive every quarter for having it. I give them like a $75 if they have step 1. And then I give them $100 if they have their master clerk certificate
$100 per month.
per quarter.
Wow. That's 400 a year then. That's pretty nice.
Well, gives them a little money to, and boy, don't tell their parent, man. I made a mistake one time. I told their husbands and they said, Judge, you don't tell our husbands anything. I said, okay, got it. My lips are sealed. That's hard, but okay.
That's funny.
But yeah, I take good care of my, but they take good, you can see how well they,
And you told me where they were at, but I forgot. Was it San Marcos or what?
San Marcos is, it's the college there in San Marcos. What is that, Texas State?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, they're the ones that get the funds. The way we get our funds for our training is through the Texas Supreme Court. They grant the Texas Justice Training Center monies. And they're the ones that put on all the training for the judges, constables, and clerks.
Okay.
And you got to be fast because the classes fill up fast. I mean, if you're not Johnny on the spot, they have for the judges, though, the catch-all is if you missed all the good places, you end up going to Lubbock. There ain't nothing in Lubbock.
So you have one course there and you have another one in Galveston, or it just rotates around, or what?
It rotates. The clerks, they rotated it around. One year we went to Austin. 1 year we went to San Antonio. 1 year we went to Galveston, and 1 year we went to Corpus Christi. First time I ever went to the home of the Whataburger Enterprise,
Oh, wow.
Corpus Christi. Yeah, went to Corpus Christi, and then 1 year, I take them also to the legislative update. The legislative update, you know that the Texas government only meets every 2 years.
Mhm.
Well, after the course, they come out with a book with all the laws that affected JPs, and it's usually like this. So I take them all to the legislative update, so they all can get a book and they can find out what's going on for the latest. Ann loved it because when I came back, I never kept my book because the clerks had theirs, so I gave it to Ann. Ann just, can I have this book, Judge? Yeah, you can have it.
That's cool.
So she had that, but they sent us to South Padre Island, and we had it was,
And they paid for that one, or what?
no, the county won't pay. I have to pay for that one too.
I thought maybe the state kicked some money in or something.
No, the county got to where they would pay for 4. They said, Judge will pay for 4.
How many you have total? You said 8?
I have 8
8.
and myself. Oh, 8, let's see, I have 8 with me. So I have my core coordinator and 6 clerks. So there's, 8. So,
You're very generous, but I see the logic. I think it's a good idea.
well, I don't have anybody calling in sick. I don't have anybody, they come to work, they all do they love coming to work.
All team players. You know, you have a lot of drama in the office. It's not a good thing for morale, so.
No, it is no. And my mother-in-law used to tell me all the time. She used to tell me, I know. I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I know.
Oh, I forgot about that. Then should we get off of YouTube till the next hearing?
No, but it doesn't bother me. I'm very proud of what I do with my clerks.
Do you delete them after the hearing?
I don't know what they do. I don't.
They're supposed to.
I don't.
Supposed to simulate the courtroom, which of course, after the court's over, there would be no record, right? You don't
Yeah.
need it.
So I assume they do. Like I say, I don't. The clerks say all it. I don't.
You may ask them, and you may want them to delete them after the hearing.
I will.
I know the county courts and district courts will all delete them after the hearing.
Yeah, I'll bring it up. But they're here. They're listening to us right now.
Okay.
That's why they're coming in here giving me a hard time because they're hearing me talk. And the judge, remember, I said, I'm not saying anything I wouldn't tell anybody.
So you can push the button and go off YouTube, and then we come back on when it's business time,
I don't know how to do that. So they'd have to show me.
Then they can ask them for the next time or something.
But
But,
I don't mind. I tell everybody that I tell everybody I have the best staff in the whole county of El Paso.
maybe the state, man.
In the state.
You
Yeah,
got to well trained. I mean, the entire staff, even not just like some counties may have 1 or 2 master clerks. You got them all, and it makes
Yeah.
everything run efficiently. I mean, I think it's good logic. It's a shame the county won't pay for it. It's only once a year for the one training, once every 2 years for the other training. I mean,
well, the other judges don't send 4. Why don't you give me their money and let me take mine?
Yeah,
But the other judges aren't going to take advantage of it. If you budgeted this money for each court,
Mhm.
if they're not using it, why don't you let me have it so I can take mine?
It's a good point. I would, but I would, as a taxpayer, I would rather see the county commissioners vote in the money to send all the courts. In fact, I'd make it mandatory, just like they have us take all these mandatory CLEs about sexual harassment, all these other things, IT stuff and all that. I think they should, it benefits the taxpayers and the county government to have their people well-trained. I think they should send all 8.
Because anybody that comes through the door, when they ask my clerk a question, they can talk to them and tell them the answer. And if they can't, they get together and they find the answer.
Yeah,
So that it benefits the constituents.
yes,
So they're not getting a runaround.
yeah.
I mean, it's just,
I'm sure they're more correct, they make less mistakes, and more efficient and everything else. And like you said, when you got them all trained, they can all bounce ideas off each other and try to figure out the answer, like you said. I think it's a great idea. Propose it. You propose it to the county commissioners ever?
well, I'm not allowed to go to the commissioners. I went one time and I lost my temper, and my court coordinator said, no more, never again. I said, okay. Because I had a commissioner tell me, why should I train your clerks? And I said, what? Really?
Why should you train any employee then?
I just couldn't,
Off the street and set them behind a desk, say, go do it. See how much they get accomplished.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But
That's
hey.
just silly.
So I don't go down there. I just,
Not with that, it's bonding. And if you're friends with everybody you work with, then you're more likely to stay. The more people you have staying, the less it costs the county to have to constantly be training people, right? If you have to constantly take time out of your week to post job openings, to interview people, to hire people, and then you got to train them. So it means your staff now has to take time out of their day to train somebody every day, right? So now your experienced people aren't full efficiency because they're spending their time training people, right? The new people aren't full efficiency because they haven't learned a job yet. It's just bad all the way around. If you have a low turnover rate, it's good, everybody benefits, right? And that's one reason you have a low turnover rate. It's because people are well trained. They don't get frustrated and stuff, Plus, they bond when they go on those trainings and everything. And it's a lot easier, a lot harder to quit a job when everybody there is your friend than one where you don't really hardly know anybody. You know what I mean? It's much easier to quit that job. So it benefits everybody. I think.
that's the way I look at it, and it seems to work. So
Yeah, I think you ought to represent every few years. Plus. They may change their mind. You plant the seed, the next couple of years later, you water the seed a little bit. That couple of years later, water the seed again, and maybe they come around, Not only that, the commissioner's court changes over time too. The next group of people might think differently than the last group of people did,
Well, I just take care of my little box out of here, and I try to make sure that it runs real smooth.
Maybe your court coordinator should come with you when you present. And if you start to get a little heated, she could just pull you.
Oh, he comes with me.
Down, boy, down.
He comes with me with his baseball bat.
Yeah.
That was him coming in here telling me I was on you. He's sitting here with his baseball bat already. Yeah, all my clerks use their baseball bat. They said, Judge. So, but I tell you, I to me, it just makes it work so much. But and you can't tell the other judges, you can't tell me how to run my. I said, you know what? Everybody has their own.
It's
own
nice to
technique.
share ideas, what works, for you and what works for them. And they don't have to do it, but at least listen to the good idea. They may decide it's a good idea they want to incorporate. I never take offense when they give me suggestions because you don't have to.
If they ask me, I tell them. If they don't ask me, I keep it to myself. But Suzanne will tell you, we always have a great time. Right,
Yes,
Suzanne?
we do. And I miss Jerry because between you and Jerry was a lot of fun. Okay.
Who's Jerry?
My brother was the constable, and he would be in the court like this. He would be on the thing, and
Yeah.
we would be doing our the Haggerty routine, the clowns, the Haggerty clowns.
Jerry is the youngest boy, so they beat up on him all the time. But he's not.
Oh, please, beat up on him.
But he will defend himself. I like that.
So he
Well,
retired or what happened?
he lost his raise.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love
yeah, we had we run like a smooth operation. It runs really well. And we
Yeah.
get stuff done, and
Tell him to run for county commissioner, man.
my nephew was a county commissioner. I used to tell him that. He'd get all upset with me. I said, look, he would be the one that wouldn't give me the money. I went down there one time. I said, look, out of every court cost, $4 goes to technology and training. So I went down there and I said, look, we have all this money. Why don't you let me send all the clerks to training? And they said, no. I said, this isn't going to cost you a dime. It's not going to cost the taxpayer a dime. The money's sitting in the account. You'll have it back by the end of the year after we have all our courts. Nope. I said, okay. That's the day I got in trouble. I lost my temper.
Oh, your brother could always run. There's all kinds of things you can run for, right?
Oh, he's
Council, county commissioner, you run for constable.
he can do all sorts of stuff, but you know, he's still.
I hate to see him give up on public service. He can do a different position, you know?
Yeah. Well, I seem to be doing okay. I really do. I really enjoy what we do. And we were doing such a great job with truancy. I mean, we were really making a difference with those kids. The schools loved it because their attendance rates were going up, and they thought it was great. It was just a win-win situation. But our state legislature and their brilliance.
You know, sometimes though they realize they make mistakes. You know, if they get feedback, look, this is how it worked before, this is how it's working now, or our attendance rates are going down. We think the old system was better, or maybe a hybrid between the old and the new. We think the best components. We need to rethink this. We need to have some new legislation.
I forgot to sign it.
They need to have the feedback. They need to know that somebody needs to point out the attendance rates are going down. Maybe they'd reconsider it if they knew. Somebody's got to bring it up, make it an issue.
Yeah, I you know, you get to the point where it's very difficult, and again, you have 8 judges that have different ideas. You have 8 different judges that. Oh, you guys see it. You work in the different courts. They all don't work like my court. They all have different.
Yeah, there's different ways of doing
They
things.
have different ways of doing things, and I mean, you know, you see it more than I do. I would imagine they run it a little different than I do. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, some things are just no brainers, like training your people. I mean,
That
corporate America spends a lot of money training
you're
their
like
people.
me. You're like me. I said, how can you not train your
Yeah.
personnel? I just
Well, look at all the big corporations. All the big corporations spend money training their people. They don't, you know, I mean,
just like I tell the kids, education is power. The more education you have, the more power you have.
yeah,
Definitely.
But
yeah, I understand it.
I don't either.
The lessons.
I don't understand it either. Maybe you can have some feedback. You're down there in the big white castle. You can.
Yeah, they don't listen to me much, man.
I'm out there. I'm out here in the lowlands. I'm down here in the boonies.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, but I do. I really am. I really am proud of my staff. I very impressed.
you should do. Sound like they're doing a great job, and they're very well trained, and they're master clerks and all that. Yeah.
Yep. They make me look. They make me look brilliant, and that's impossible.
They're magicians, these people, okay?
Yes, they are. They are. Suzanne. They make me look great, and that's impossible.
Well, they're magicians, Mr. Mark.
Yes, they are. I just told them when I first got here, I said, this job is very hard. So why don't we have fun at it? And why don't we? I mean, it's just a paper chase. It's a.
Sounds like it would be. You have a very large volume, so it seems like it would take a lot to keep up with it, you know.
Yeah, they told me I was my first. I don't know. Were you here, Suzanne, on the first day? The first
No.
day I was here, the court coordinator at the time, I think she wanted to get rid of me, but she we had 250 cases of truancy.
Mm.
And we rolled them in at, we started at 9 and we were done by 5. They couldn't believe it. We went through, of course, we only had a 15-minute lunch.
We were all thin at that time, Mr. Marcandel.
But I tell you, we went through those 250 cases were taken care of. They just thought, wow.
No,
I guess he's not gonna, they expected me to quit. They patted me on the back and said, go get them. And they thought I'd come out here. I just came out here and I said, I gotta run this like a fire truck. I gotta make sure everybody in the fire truck knows what's going on. So I gotta get us all on the same sheet of music. And that's the way I looked at it. So
training worked, Judge.
it did. It really did. And I went down to Judge Lujan, and Judge Lujan was kind enough to let his staff talk to my staff.
What time do you usually finish on dockets, by the way? Now I'm thinking about it again.
When the last case is heard.
Well, yeah, but when is that? 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock?
Come on, Counselor. Most of my ladies don't schedule anything after 3:30. 3:30 is usually my last.
So
But in your
4 o'clock.
situation, most of it, your stuff will be done in the morning.
Mhm.
Oh, will be?
Well, the only reason why this is going on as long as it is because we have to put them at 20 minutes. We would usually go through this. We would be done in this within an hour.
Yeah.
But
So-
because of the
If we're in
COVID,
per- if we're in person, you're probably done by 3 o'clock at the latest, you're saying. Sometimes you don't even have afternoon dockets.
no, what I would do, if this was the regular way, all these people would be sitting in the courtroom.
Uh-huh.
And I'd just call them up and you would have done this in about 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm
And
trying to figure out if I can work, if we're in person, if I can work dims on your day or not. I may not.
you can't, on my days you can, because we do it pretty fast.
I could be back here by 4 o'clock or something.
Judge, your lobby is not big enough where you can have the social distancing. And let's say at 9 o'clock, you could have 5 people sitting in there.
Well, the lobby, but you got to remember, Susanna, once I get all this junk out of my courtroom, we can do it in here. We could probably have 25, 30 people.
Mhm.
And you can run them in every 30 minutes. You could do it through the 30. And then you would move it pretty fast. But yeah, it's and of course you're gonna be here for attorneys. I think you were here already, right? For
Well,
attorneys.
For what?
Did we do attorneys yet with you?
I don't remember. I know I've done it in a couple courts. I don't remember if I've done it with you or not.
Yeah, the attorneys, and the reason why that takes long is the attorneys don't show up. But now on the Zoom, there's no excuse. They should be ready to go
Yeah,
whenever.
they should. Uh-huh.
But in the past, it was they would come in. I'd start court at 9, and they'd come wandering in at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Did they really?
Yeah, I used to get upset. And bless her heart, she was that judge. She very pro attorney, I think. I said, I'm going to hold them in contempt. Oh, judge, they're busy. And she used to call me. That was her baseball bat. Now, judge, don't get excited. I said, okay, if you're not upset, I'm not upset. I don't care.
Have you seen her, Judge? Have you seen Ann?
No, I haven't, but I was talking to Mr. Merkin. He talks to her every once in a
Oh,
while.
you
Oh, I
did?
do. I still do.
And
Yeah, I mentioned it to her the other day. She's like, "Oh, sounds good." She thought it was a good idea. If we all, once the kind of pandemic's over, all getting together for lunch sometime. Yeah,
yeah.
that was a good idea.
Yeah,
And
and she was great. I tell you, Ann helped me tremendously when I first got on the bench. She said, Judge, I know you might get upset with me. I said, are you kidding me? I can't even spell JP. You got to help me as much as you can, because I don't know.
Right, so she kind of helped you along and kind of mentored you something.
Oh yeah. I said, Ann, don't ever hesitate to call me out. Don't ever hesitate. I won't take it personal. But if I'm screwing up, let me know.
Yeah.
She said, okay.
That's what makes you a good judge, though. You're willing to learn and do things right. You don't take it personal just because somebody has a suggestion.
Yeah, I tell all my staff that. My staff are, they have every right to tell me, Judge, pull your head out. You're screwing up. I said, okay.
We
But-
have time out for the judge, okay?
But I do. They used to do that. They used to hold up the recess card. Judge, we need a recess. They'd take me into my office and beat me
That's the
up.
time out. That's the time out for the judge.
But I'm telling you, by doing it that way, it runs so much smoother. It just runs smooth.
Yeah, well, because you not only you develop a trust between all of you, that is what makes it work.
Yeah, everybody's on the same sheet of music, so it
Mhm.
works well. And I've been very fortunate. I knock on wood all the time. I'm very fortunate. I have good staff, so. Yeah, it's great. It just looks like our 12 o'clock did not show, right, Nina? Nina, are you there? Yoo-hoo. Cynthia? I don't know if they're even up there. Maybe they went to lunch without us. I don't know.
Not us. Now we'll have a talk about that, okay? Judge? We
Yeah,
will
'cause
let them know.
I'm back here in the back, so I can't see them. I'm way back here by myself. So, Lena, you up there?
You know what? Probably they don't have the microphone on, Judge, so they cannot hear you.
Well, Cynthia's around because she just sent me an email with some dismissals on it.
Hi, Judge.
Okay, there she is.
Oh,
Yes,
there.
Judge.
Yeah, I guess Miss Lemus didn't make it.
No, no show, Judge.
Okay, so all we have left is Eric, right? And then we have a 1 o'clock.
And then we have a 1 o'clock. Yes, Judge. So I don't know if Mr. Markenthal and Susana want to go real quick and have a quick lunch.
Well, we have,
Good.
what happened to the 12:20?
Well, we're still waiting on the 12:20, Miss Susana.
Okay.
But after 12:20, she
But
said
after
she's
that,
gonna have a
yes,
quick
ma'am.
lunch.
Yes.
They're gonna give you 30 minutes for lunch.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't need to eat more than that. Trust me.
Neither do we, Susana.
What docket are we doing at 1, Lena?
You have a bench trial, but it's with Cynthia, Judge. So she's on the phone right
Okay,
now.
okay. All righty. Well, this went better. This really went smooth. I was expecting it to be a lot more
What were you
difficult.
what were you really expecting, Judge?
Well, I was expecting the IT to be a lot more harder to,
Well,
but they
there
kind
are
of figured out,
days-
they figured it out pretty quick, so.
Trust me, I'll tell you that really and truly, when we have good connections like this, there's no problem. But there are times where, for one reason, I don't know why, you all of a sudden you disappear from the
Screen?
and or you are not able to hear somebody, or maybe somebody, of course, in this case, all of the people are coming to your JP, so no problem. But sometimes when we have worked the other cases, there are connecting through Zoom and maybe they don't have a good connection. So you have a little bit of problems there, but it's not all the time, Judge. It's just here and there, okay?
Yeah, well, because this is the first time we had interpreter trials. So
Oh, okay.
I was worried about you being able to communicate. So it worked out well.
Yeah, no, I have worked that okay with the.
Yeah, but you're right on those other cases. Sometimes I have to have them call in on the phone. I can see their
Yes.
face, but they're talking to me on the phone.
Yeah.
We work around it, but
Yeah.
you're right. But it on the most part, it works out pretty well.
Yeah, and the only thing, like I said, what was going on? What I can't remember. Sometimes I think it's everybody is on. I think, what's going on? Because everybody must be in the computer that our connections are so bad. Or in some cases, you might hear like background noise. But those are things I think that just the connection
Yeah.
was.
How's your coverage out in JP7, Counselor?
What do you mean
Pretty
coverage?
good.
You mean coverage, like,
The internet, you don't have any problem with the connections out in JP7?
I mean,
I haven't seen any.
And you have Luan too. You're way out there in Clint.
Yeah, I haven't had any problems there either.
That's amazing. I was surprised that you just didn't keep the 4 that Ann had that were on the west side and northeast.
I wanted to.
You wanted to go to Lujan or you wanted to keep the 4 over here?
Want to keep the 4 over here.
So
I'm
you
not
do
driving.
your so you can do your dims. That's why.
Yeah, well, not only that, it just keeps less miles in my car and burning less gas and all that.
They don't give you a car, they don't give you a gas card or anything.
They don't give me a car. I think they're supposed to get us a little bit of money for mileage, but it's from what I hear, they haven't done it yet because we're not driving right now. But you know, you don't come out ahead on that. You come out behind. But so yeah, I'd rather be a CC7 instead of Lujan. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Lujan a lot. He's fun to talk to, but it's just so far away from me. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, like right now it's great because he's I like him personally. He's fun to talk to. He's a good judge. But and I don't have to drive out there, you know. But when I have to start driving out there, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I don't like this, you know. But what my understanding was, it's better, you know, they like us to split by where we live if we can, you know. But Ramon has a conflict out there now, and so he can't do Lujan, so I have to do Lujan, and so then the only one other judge on that day is Fritzy. So he's going to the furthest possible judge away from him, and I'm going to the furthest possible judge away from me. The conflict, I guess, is his wife working there. His wife works for Lujan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't see that as a conflict. I mean, she doesn't have any
and that nothing to do.
pull. You know, she's not. If she was the judge, I could see a conflict. You know, just working there in the office, I don't see that as much of a conflict. But they do.
Maybe he wants to work somewhere else than.
Keep things peaceful at home. I know.
Just,
The conflict is with Ramon. It's not with anything else.
just kidding. I don't know. Really, what does she do for Luan?
I'm not even sure. I don't even
You know what clerk she is or what she does?
No, I don't know. But apparently, yeah, that's so now that she's working there, he has to be somewhere else. So
Now, is your wife still teaching school?
yeah, she teaches at Vista Hills Elementary.
Oh,
Vista Hills. Oh, you're on the east side then.
No,
Or
we
no,
don't-
she just travels to Vista Hills.
yeah, she travels. I've been trying to talk her out. I tried to talk her to moving over there at one point, but she couldn't find a house we could afford that she liked as well as ours, you know. So then I tried to talk her into
Transferring over to the west side.
Yeah, taking a job on the west side. I know some teachers that are friends with our friends of ours, and they say that's the way to do it. You know, it's not worth making those long drives. They did it for years too, and they were so glad they finally switched schools. But I can't talk her into it. She likes her principal. She likes her coworkers. You know, they're
And what grade does she teach?
well, for most of her time over there, she taught 6th grade, and then when this current principal came in there like 2 or 3 years ago, she shuffled everything around, you know. And now my wife teaches 1st grade, but she seems to like that too. So now she's in 1st, very different from 6th, but she likes it. So
That's good. Well, Lena, 12:20, no show.
Oh,
Are we still waiting?
what? I don't know. What, Judge?
Well, I got it's 12:20. But the clock back here in the courtroom is not the same on there. It's only 12:13, so we
Yeah.
have 7 minutes to go.
Yes, Judge, we still have some time.
Okay, I just got to make sure I'm looking at the right time. So
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh,
no, but I mean, I mean, that's a small price to pay. At least, I mean, I'm really enjoying the job and everything. And Ramon's he's a great lawyer, and he really knows how to do all this JP stuff. So he's a very good source for me.
how's his finger?
His finger.
Yeah, he had surgery on one of his fingers. I always ask him, "How's your finger?"
Oh.
Because he had to do surgery or something on a finger.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's great. I used to get him a lot when I used to go down and cover for Judge Chapman.
Oh, okay.
And I've only been, I think I've only covered for Judge Lujan very seldom, but when I do, they're very interesting cases. So I like going down there.
Yeah.
But with this Zoom stuff now, you don't have to go anywhere. You just
oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was
It's-
so
it's-
nice.
This is fantastic.
Just move from one room of your house to another. That's it.
42 miles. That mile marker 42 is a long ways out there.
I've covered pretty much all the JP courts from time to time back in the old days, and so I've been out there a few times, and he was the judge back then, but it's been so long, I don't remember where it's at or how far exactly it is or how to get there. I'd have to look all that up again. But I know I covered your court at least once. I
Yeah, you
covered it
told-
before you
you-
were there, and I covered it at least once while you were there.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
told me you were out here with Ann one time, and I don't remember.
Yeah, she brought me to introduce you to me or whatever, and then I was gonna be covering a few days or something, couple of days or something like that.
I don't remember. So
And then most of the judges I covered for are gone. There's not too many of them that are still around from when I.
oh
Covered
yeah,
by-
one election we had four new. We wiped out 50%. We had four new judges. It was Judge Chapman. Who was those four? Judge Cerna. I don't know. And then this last time, Judge Aponte decided to retire. Then
Okay.
Judge Herrera came in,
Yeah, that's true.
and
I stood for her a lot of times. Yeah.
and then of course Kelly Dixon didn't run again, so we got Judge Frisky.
Yeah.
Fisky. How do you? I always have a hard.
It's Fritzy.
It's what Fitchy.
Fritzy.
I have a difficult time. I just call her Judge. That's what I do with most of Judge. No, I don't mess up their names, but I like to mispronounce names.
I guess that's a German last name, Judge?
Yes.
I would assume so. That
Yeah, she told me it was German.
Oh, it was German.
so.
Yeah, I've had to cover it down there for Ramon a few times. She seems very nice too.
Yeah,
You got a nice bunch.
She seems to have. She runs a pretty efficient courtroom. So
Yeah, so she took over. I mean, so when Kelly retired, that's when she took over?
yeah.
Or quit, whatever. Okay. I didn't know if there was somebody in between them or not.
Well, there was. They appointed the lawyer. What's his name? Used to be a JP. Nicest guy. Matter of fact, he used to do a lot of our real estate. He's out on
Anderson?
what was it?
Anderson?
That's it.
Yeah, that's. what
And
we
he
call
was a JP at JP1, and
really? it. I didn't
yeah,
know.
one time, and they for some reason he didn't run again, and he should have. He would have got vested, but
Mhm.
by all the times that he's been appointed temporary judges for judges that are out for sick or something,
Mhm.
he's got more time than most judges. He's got a lot of, but he's not vested. He's not.
No,
Yeah, I substituted for him a bunch of times years ago. Anderson over there on Executive Center.
Yeah, he was JP1.
Mhm.
Yeah, Steve Anderson's the name. Steve,
Yep.
nicest guy in the world. The guy is great.
very nice.
But anyway, he finished out Kelly's term because she quit like in in the summer.
I didn't
And
know she
then-
quit early. I did not realize that.
She what?
I didn't realize she quit early before her term ended.
She did. She left like in May or June, and Steve came in, and then January 1st, Judge Frisky took over. So she's been there. She and Josh they came in at the same time.
When she didn't get reelected, she said, okay, I'm done. I don't need to finish my term. So she left.
Yeah,
I liked her a lot. I worked with her in the DA's office for years. My supervisor for a while there. I liked her a lot personally.
I worked very well with her too. I was surprised. At first I thought, was she sick or
well,
something?
there was a lot of personal stuff going on.
Oh, okay. I
Her
thought
boy-
maybe she was sick or maybe something,
Yeah, I don't know really why she did. I didn't feel I should ask, but I do know her husband died in
Yes, yes.
a horse riding accident or
Yes.
something. And I just think that just kind of, I think
No,
it-
that
I
was-
think
was
I think
never-
that was it.
emotionally upset her so much to where I think it just kind of
Yeah.
destroyed her will to continue on. She just retired, I think. The other thing I think that led to her retiring, which was emotional, was her son-in-law and her daughter and her only grandchild transferred to Dallas, Texas, you know.
Yes.
There was no longer anything here for her. You know, her parents had passed away. Her siblings were all different places. Her husband dies. Her daughter moves out of town with a grandchild. I mean, and then she's like, "What's there for me here?" She never told me that, but that's kind of what I'm suspecting. At that point, she just wanted to move. You
Yeah,
know,
and
So,
I really probably
I think I don't know.
went back to work just to see if she could, entertain herself or something after her husband passed away. But yeah, that was very hard for her.
I think
That
so.
was
too.
very hard for Kelly.
Yeah, and so I could see that she had a good pension at the DA's office.
Yeah, she didn't need to work. That
Didn't
was
need
the
to
other
work. Yeah,
And then she bought that house. Remember the house that she bought is it San Angelo? No, San Marcos.
yeah, San Marcos.
Yeah, San Marcos. She bought that. Oh my gosh, she was building that house and she was going to be, her grandson was the love of her life. Okay. And she was going to be closer to him that way. So
Yeah, I never understood.
Yeah.
why she didn't
I'm
move-
out of here.
I don't know why she didn't move to Dallas. Really,
I don't know. Maybe it was more expensive, Mr. Mercantile, to go over there.
Well, I know she also has some good friends in that San Marcos area. So
Oh, I didn't.
It is beautiful. I love San Marcos.
Yeah, and maybe
I love the Saltgrass restaurant. It's right there on the Guadalupe River. You sit out there on the porch.
I didn't know.
Very great.
I didn't have to check that out next time we're over there. I know that a lot of people go to San Marcos to retire, so that says something about the area.
Well, she moved into kind of like a retirement community. I believe in her community, I don't think there were people with children or anything.
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Okay, so it's already 12:21. No show on Eric Way. Somebody's approaching the door.
Yeah, I usually like to wait 5 minutes, Lena.
Okay, Judge.
Give 5 minutes. We'll call it at 12:25.
Oh, but he hasn't-
We'll give them 3 more minutes.
you wanted to-
She's
Yeah,
very
San
nice
Marcos.
person.
San Marcos is a very nice town, but let me tell you, that corridor between Austin and San Antonio is the people is just unbelievable.
Not good. bad, or-
Well, it's growing. It's just booming. I mean,
Almost like you don't even see that you're getting out of one seater and going into another.
oh
just
no, it's all. It's
all
like El
city.
Paso and Las Cruces getting to
Yeah.
where it's all.
Like,
Yeah, I noticed that. It really is built up all the way from Austin to was it San Marcos to New Braunfels to San Antonio. You hardly know when you leave one and enter the other one. It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah, there used to be a lot of farmland and all that, but
not
not anymore.
wow.
It's all those people moving in from California. That's what it is. They're all moving in from California.
I sure hated to see her leave though. I mean, she was a good friend. I liked her a lot, Kelly. I mean, but I can see that if there's nothing else here for you, why not retire and move somewhere you'd rather live, closer to friends and family.
closer well, she wanted to be closer to her grandson. That's what she
Yeah.
wanted. I wonder what she did with her horses though. Did she get rid of her horses or she moved them over there?
I didn't ask her the last time I talked to her. I haven't talked to her in probably over a year.
Oh,
Talked to her once in a while too, but I didn't ask her the last time I talked to her. I just assumed so. It's just too much work probably. But
I can't believe I haven't seen you more often because you've been there for 20 years. When
Yeah.
you came on the scene, I thought, well, how long you work for the DA? I've been here 19 years. What? 19 years.
yeah,
yeah,
I thought Mr. Mercantile just moved from Louisiana. That's what I thought.
No, I've never. And
yeah,
then he tells
I
me,
used to talk-
Judge, I met you 10 years ago in your courtroom. I said, really? You were here? I don't remember. So,
Yeah, well, I have an advantage. There's a whole lot of people coming to your court, but I don't meet a whole lot of judges, you know what I mean? So I
well, they
to-
tell me all the time. People will come up to me and say, Judge, you remember me? And I always have to tell them, no.
Yeah.
I see so many people a week. I hate to be rude, but no, kind of remind me.
Yeah.
And
Anyway, I have defendants and victims come up to me like that, and I don't remember them. Sometimes it's kind of scary because
Uh-huh.
you're worried about
Yeah,
and what are they going to do? I mean, I tell you, it is kind of scary when you think about it. Like I had one guy one time. This was a number of years back. I was at the UTEP football game with my family, because we get season tickets. And a lot of times my daughter and son and I will go get the concessions, and bring them back. But that time it was just my son and I. We went up there. We got concessions for my wife and my daughter and him and I, and we had our hands both full. And we're walking back down the court, in that area where all the concessions are, toward the little entrance to the seats, And I hear somebody yell out, "Kevin!" And I didn't even look back because I figured at the time I had only been here maybe 7 or 8 years, I figure, oh, they're not talking to me, and then I keep walking, I hear, "Kevin." And I still figured, well, they're not talking to me, I kept walking. Then I hear, "Kevin Markentel." And I'm like, well, that has to be me. So I turn around and some guy off in the distance is waving at me, and I kind of nod my head because my hands were full. And then he comes running up to me, goes, "You remember me?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, yeah. He goes, "You sent me to prison for 2 years, remember?" And I'm like, "Uh-oh." I'm like, "No, I don't remember that." He goes, yeah. I was on probation for DWI third and more, and I picked up another DWI third and more.